And we're live. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Season 2 of 2026 is here, and we are at Spa for round one. I'm Whelp Cakes. In the booth with me, as always, is Finicini. Finn, how are you doing today?
Oh man, we are doing solid. It's been a heck of an off season for us, but I'm so stoked to be back into the booth with you to spend another 8 weeks in the proverbial commentator's trailer to give some racing action here for Track Limits on Saturday nights. It's gonna be a good one. I'm so happy that we're getting back into this.
Yeah. I need to get the game audio fixed. Let me do that real fast, and I think we'll be good to go. All right. Excellent. Just taking a look at chat right now. We got some folks joining in. Trailer looks pretty good. All right. Chris is saying the baboons have arrived. Yes, they have. We got a lot of New World representation here, which I'm stoked to see all these guys because they're really good dudes. Yeah, Finn, I'm really excited to get back in the booth. Like you said, 8 weeks. Another good season lined up for everyone at home. We are here at round one, which is Spa. We've got 3-car classes to show off tonight. We've got the LMP3 Pro and AM classes. We've got GT3 and the GT4 Pro AM classes. We've still got little less than 10 minutes left in free practice right now. We do have some times on the board. Let's go ahead and get switched over to some data, maybe give people a feel for what we're looking at. We got Jack Wilkins on top with a 2-minute 10 in the LMP3 Pro category. Sean Sullivan's only 2.9 seconds off. The fact that LMP3 AM is already so close to the back end of Pro gives me some good vibes. Actually, that's not an actual gap. That's an interval. So that's 2.95 seconds from the back of P6, which is Nathaniel Baker. So there's the spread right there for the folks at home. But 2-minute 10.7 for LMP3 Pro. Pretty quick, Finn, what did you say?
I'd say it's pretty decent. Pretty darn close between all these drivers as well, I'd say, in most of the categories. But some good pace from all of them. I think it's going to make for some interesting LMP3, GT3 action, especially in kind of the more technical sectors where those times are going to kind of, I think, continue to crunch down. As Luke Patrick has a little bit of an off there in turn number one. A few drivers having troubles with the source in practice here. Ideally getting all those pre-race rust shaken out prior to qualifying, which we'll start here in just a moment. Busy. It's gonna be fun. I think the pace seeing out of these drivers pretty darn cool. Seeing a few of these drivers jump into new classes as well. Probably I think the least admin change from previous seasons to this season, which has been, I think, thankfully for us, a bit of an easy ride from the broadcasting side of things. But I think it's one we get to really kind of see where drivers, as they move into the new categories, a lot of drivers I think we've seen jump from either LMP3 to GT4 or up to GT3 from GT4. Like Anthony Newman, I think one of the notable ones that I can think of that has made that dive into the GT3 category. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. We've got people shuffling around all up and down the field. I'm really excited to see the field kind of get shaked around a little bit. Taking a look at some more of the times, though, Jake Hewitt coming back with a vengeance with a 2:26 GT4 Pro. It's a pretty good time. 2/10 up on a newcomer, Tim Rosenfield, excuse me, Tim. I'm gonna get the season started off by pronouncing everyone's names incorrectly. Yeah, so lots of interesting times so far coming in. We've also got, like I was saying before, we got some of the New World crew. Jonathan Barrett right now, top GT4 AM right now with, what is that? He's running a 29.28. Only 0.04 of a second off Robert Lewis for P7 right now. So, yeah. Close stuff up and down the field. Just looking at the data for tonight, Finn, we've got, I believe this is the 90-minute feature here at Spa. So
Yeah,
that should
Live
be
8.
a lot of good racing. Hopefully, we're going to see what strategy is going to look like this season. What do you think?
It's going to be, I think, a very I'm curious to see how we've gotten some new, I would say, developments on a couple of physics models, the way they want to do, not they as in, sorry, the way iRacing calculates a few different things as well as plans, um, has allowed for a little bit more diversity in some of the strategy that we'll see here, and the ability to kind of, especially with every week having that 20-minute heat race, to kind of get a feel for the track without having, any bumps and bruises, the early stuff that you get, knocked around on, not impacting, much like our other seasons. It gives that 90 minutes feature race that we have for this week, and a good host of the other weeks is a make for an interesting one for pit cycles as well as overall race pace and strategy there. I think it'll make for some fun planning, a little bit of that pit strategy. I think it's one of my favorite things about endurance racing as well as this league in general is that it has those, you're really kind of focusing on the battling between everybody as well as where you're going to end up because of the pit cycle on one end or the other. Whoa,
Ooh, yep, that is
big shunt there.
yeah, Tiago losing the back end a little bit. Get some setup changes put in place before qualifying, get his confidence back up and get back out on track. Look at him, he's already back down pit lane, making it happen, folks.
He just hit the grass early and then got into contact with
just maximizing all the track just a hair more than maybe he wanted to. That said, he's gonna get out there and put down a good time, I know it. So let's take a look at some more of the times right now. GT3's Tyler Torville on top in the 22, 14.978. Mike Gallant and Anthony Newman are your top three right now, with Tanner Schiffner, Corey Lobner rounding out the top five. Gian Cardoso, one of the LMP3s, joining the GT3 field this season.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very cool. I think it's so much fun to see, a bunch of the drivers all kind of dive into new machinery, change it up a little bit. We saw, I think, a good host of our drivers diving into kind of the same stuff they're used to as Patrick, trying to get a move done on Christopher Blue in the practice here, trying to find the opportunities and places for the LP3s to really kind of leverage the downforce they have to really get around these GT3s. The pace only 4 seconds, almost 5 seconds. A little over 4 seconds difference between our fastest GT3 and our fastest LMP3. I think it's going to make for some interesting moments, much like this, where I think cooler heads will prevail in terms of getting around the track safely for these drivers. I think maybe for some interesting multi-class, especially when we get into the feature race. Given that we have 90 minutes and a 20-minute heat, this is a pretty large track. I think it's the third largest on the service of iRacing that is available to everyone here. So I think it's going to be one. We don't see a whole lot of multi-class traffic in terms of the GT3 and LP3 battling in the heat, but we will definitely see it in the feature, and I think it'll be one that it will hopefully not end in bloodshed, but given the pace similarity, it may be one of the more awkward tangos we'll see over the course of endurance racing here this weekend.
Yeah, I am taking a peek around. Look, Patrick's going to try and maybe practicing pit entries. You definitely want to make sure you got that stuff figured out before you get wild and crazy in backing up in the spot. Definitely don't want to do that. The Golden Riders talking about the Christopher Blue is back. That is correct. And he is in the vet again this season. Where is Christopher Blue on track? Let's check in with 530 as he's going down the Kemmel Straight right now in the Corvette. Got less than 2 minutes left in free practice before we dive into quali. So, Finn, with qualifying going into the heat race, qualifying here not in the sports car series. It's not nearly as critical as that finishing order is out of that heat race. But with a field this size, I think you're still going to want to have a good quali because this is a crowded field. I mean, we have 46 drivers in
Yes.
session right now.
Yep. 46 drivers, 43 of which have set a lap time in practice here. Only 3 have yet to hop into the track so far. I get the feeling, we do, I said I get the feeling, we definitely talk about qualifying a lot in races that don't have the heat feature split. And I feel like we talk about them a lot less um, of it being as critical to you getting a good start position. But with 46 cars, I think getting a good start position so that way you can simply survive that 20-minute heat race and get a good finishing result. Maybe get a little bit of points in the process and then set yourself up for a good feature race. I think also crucial in like as almost like a stepping stone to that heat race finish position to get yourself set up well for the feature.
Absolutely. Golden Rudder in there wanting the redeem for the onboard for Christopher Blue. Late to the party, catching that one, but we're going to see what he can do going into the bus stop here, and we'll get him a better onboard a little bit later in the broadcast. Attacking the inner curb. That looked like he was pretty aggressive. Comes across the line, though, and it looks like he is going to set a 27.49 coming across the line, and that's going to be qualifying. So let's get switched over to that blimp cam, maybe, or scenic, maybe. I don't know what this interface is doing. SDK's kind of having fun with me.
We're diving into qualifying,
Hide.
I think, here in just a moment.
Yeah, and we do have some cars getting ready to head out right now. Jaden Ledbetter, one of the GT4s. He's in the McLaren, running GT4 Pro this season. Mr. Ledbetter, Black Flag Ledbetter, is going to be in the slow class, ladies and gentlemen. He is going to sail the high seas, see what kind of shenanigans he can get up to while the faster class cars are trying to pass him. Let's so we got a huge chunk of the field out on track now. So for everybody that doesn't know, we are doing this split qualifying, so it is an isolated qualifying experience for the folks on track. So we're going to be bouncing around as we're going through this 10-minute qualifying period right now. Let me actually find Christopher Blue, who's now coming out of Lacombe.
Yeah, these outlaps, I feel like I've only gotten more and more crucial to getting the tires up to some kind of semblance of temperature for your flying laps, as the models for physics as well as tire and the way that they model all that has continued to evolve this past season. It only makes them, I think, more technical to get organized and put into that window so that way you can get the most grip out of it for your timed laps.
Good to see Christopher Blue go through the Sector 2 portion of the track. I have a tendency to refer to the F1 sector numbers more so because I think in iRacing they count like 6 different sectors, and nobody's got time for that.
Yeah.
Going into Stablo 1 and 2 right now, this is where we picked up Chris during the previous part in free practice, but we're watching him take his lines through, and right now, the thing that strikes me is in the high-speed stuff, he seems to be pretty conservative with his lines, but in the low-speed stuff, he seems to be way more aggressive and attacking the curves a little bit more through Blanchimont.
Especially on the cold tires, you want to be conservative in those high-speed zones because otherwise you have such a risk of losing the car and sliding out and ruining the qualifying attempt anyway.
Yeah.
So it ends up being one of those things where it's really helpful just to be a little bit conservative on that outlap, a little bit conservative on the first flyer here as we dive into Les Sources for his first flyer. And each lap consecutively after that, you can get more and more bold until you're trying to get that maximum effort style lap put down, and that way you get a qualifying time. Eau Rouge and Radion. I think it's going to be interesting.
We're going to switch over to Nick Bowen right now, who's coming out of Radion, where Christopher Blue was previously, in the Aston Martin again this season, into Lake Home in the 16. Looks like Nick was putting together some pretty quick purple sectors towards the end of the lap. I'm very interested to see what kind of times he can put together. I'm taking a look at the times up towards the front in LMP3, though. And I think we're about to get our first times in here in a moment.
I think we'll get a couple lap times there when the LMP3s get across the line. And then we should start just seeing them trickle in from there.
Mm-hmm.
That and a couple of GT3s, because again, only a 4-second gap between the GT3 times and the LMP3 times.
Let's take a look at the audio, but I'm going to bump the audio a little bit when we're in TV3, because camera shots that we're getting here at Spa kind of far away, so to give you guys a little bit more audio. If it gets too loud, you just let me know. We got Luke Patrick in with the 2:11.19. Jack Wilkins is 0.03 of a second off on that one. We're going to follow Nick along towards the end of the lap. Got a few other faces about to come across the line. And there you go. Set a time. We're going to check in and see where Nick's going to slot in. Third fastest, 0.2 off. We're going to catch up now with Paul Miles. Can you help us walk us through a lap? Exiting with source right now.
Yes, exiting with source on the rundown. It's the fastest part of the track. From here, you're pretty much flat out as you work your way through Eau Rouge and Radion. This left-hander and right-hander combo. Super sketchy for both the GT3s and GT4s. A little bit better with the LMP3s just with the downforce they had. You're onto the Kemal straight immediately after, again, just kind of leaning on that throttle. Just a nice kind of resting point for the lap to then get recentered and get dived in. Lake Colm coming up, it's hard on the brakes as you get to that curving dive into it. The right-hander, right-hander combo of that. He gets a little bit loose. You don't want to take the curving in the LMP3s. We're talking about how much that unsettles this car. The GT3s and GT4s, you'll see them dive into that here and go and look at their laps. Into the braking zone for Bruxelles, it's a fast open hairpin. It feels super sketchy if you do it right, but then you get into the moto layout, which is the one I'm going to get a little bit confused on. I'm going to take a no-name or speaker's corner there. It's a little bit further down, but with the moto section, which is how we're running this, we have a little bit of an earlier turn in there, which is almost a little bit more fun. This is, I think, a nice flowing front open hairpin into Poulan, which is where we're at right now. Nice, fast pair of left-handers. Then you're into Tableau 1 and 2, a fantastic set of corners as well. Such a nice rhythm to this track, the way that we do left-handers, right-handers. Kurt Paul Fair coming up, turn number 16, technically predates it. And then Paul Fair right here is this fast opening right-hander there. Now on the backstretch, we have one more technical corner to go. Probably the easiest in the LMP3 here, Blanchimont. Coming up just a moment, fast pink. It is a super sketchy one on cold tires, and even when the tires are warmed up in the GT3 and GT4s. Then hard under the brakes here as you hit that 100 board for the LMP3s. It'd be probably the same for the GT3s. The GT4s might be a little bit earlier into the bus stop for that final chicane for the end of the lap, and then dive back in once again into the source here in just a moment time. And how does they lap in the LMP3s with the dishwasher Batisi
Yeah. It is
kicking all the way through.
Yeah. All right. Dad says the in-car sounds are drowning out the commentators. I'll bump it back down. That's okay. We were in the gearbox or in the roll cage cam, so yeah, it's a little bit louder. So yeah, I'm just taking a look right now. Paul Miles slots in 9th fastest. He's got a little bit of space that he's going to have to cover before he catches up to newcomer Justin Wilming. Meanwhile, over in the GT3 category, Mark Robeson in the 199 going through Poolhorn right now, currently 12th fastest, chasing down Andrew Mathias. Let's take a look, Finn. So right now,
Yeah.
while we're watching Mark going through Lafani into Stavlo 1 and 2, Jack Wilkins so on top right now with that 2:11.056 with Luke Patrick and Garrett Hillman as your top three right now, LMP3 Pro. Sean Sullivan, Jake Fulton looking like they're going to be the front row of LMP3 AM if it holds in this order. Mike Gallant on top right now with Anthony Newman in second. In GT3, Tyler Torfield, Tanner Schiffner on the outside looking in at that front row. And then tops of GT4 Pro, we've got Jake Hewitt, Scott Fleming. No shock, those two up at the pointy end with Chris Turner on the top of GT4 AM right now. So that's the look. That's the looky look at how qualifying is shaking out so far as we got less than a minute.
Yeah, I'm looking at the timing tower, trying to get a feel for how these battles are going to shake out. So many close lap times, especially if you look at Paul Miles, Alan Love, who are both almost identical in their lap times. 500 separate those two drivers. And Anthony Newman currently going to be the fastest GT3 driver, which is very cool to see. Of the many there that are currently working their way through, it's super fun to see that. It's just going to be, I think, a lot of close battles that we're going to have to keep an eye on. And there's going to be a lot to cover once we get racing here for this heat race as well as the feature race, as we see a couple more drivers finish up their qualifying attempts. A total of 3 seconds left for those who have yet to finish a lap. And so it's going to be, I think, a pretty quick one here.
All right. Let's see here. This one's going to be a little bit shaky, folks, so I'm going to try my best. It's been a minute since I've done a grid. So we're going to do let's do overalls. So let's go. So if I clear this out and then pull up these rankings, let's see. Cool. All right. Let me give this a shot walking us through this, Finn. So we've got on the front row, Jack Wilkins and Luke Patrick. For LMP3 Pro, followed by second row, we're going to have Sean Sullivan, Garrett Hillman. Sean Sullivan in LMP3 AM sneaking on the second row of the grid, followed by Jake Fulton and Robert Eggle. I believe I'm going to pronounce it Eggle, so you just tell me if I got it wrong. Justin Wilming and Nathaniel Baker on the fourth row of the grid. Let's take a quick step down. Paul Miles, followed by Alan Love, and then we've got our GT3 runners. Finn, who's on the grid there?
On the front row of GT3, it's going to be Anthony Newman alongside Mike Gallant. Corey Lobner is going to be alongside Tyler Torville there for row number 2. Row number 3 of the grid, Tanner Schiffner alongside Austin Green, with the likes of Eduardo Zamora alongside Carter James for row number 4. And on the 5th row, Andrew Mathias alongside Ryan Nolan. Tommy Kogan going to be alongside Ryan Beauchesne.
Correct.
I think we finally got that one right the first time instead of taking 20,000 times. Okay, yeah. Ryan Beauchesne. Mark Robeson going to be alongside Christopher Blue there for that next row of the grid. And John Newman, I forgot he moved up to GT3. Fantastic. Going to be alongside Matt Pyle there as we get towards the tail end of GT3.
Yeah. It looks like we've got 2 more rows.
We got 4 more, sorry.
Yeah, we got Alexander Vitoshkin, Ian Southern, and Todd Torville and Dave Schneider. GT4 Pros, which we're going to cut through those real quick because we are gridding up right now. Jake Hewitt and Scott Fleming on the front row of Pro with Nick Bowen and Tim Rosenfeld, followed by Henry Garcia and Chris Turner of the GT4 AM in front of Robert Lewis and Victor, I believe that is Leety. I'm going to let him kick me in the teeth
Yep.
later for getting that wrong. Jonathan Barrett, Tim Mello, alongside one another, Jaden Ledbetter, Benjamin O'Shea, who I don't know if qualified, nor did Herbert Pineda. Gian Cardoso in 44th with Tiago Alves and Paul York are our 46th runners. So we're already
Yep.
on the formation lap right now. So we're going to go ahead and get the racing information pulled up. Let's grab that track map as well. Switch on over. Where's my camera control that I want? That one. Hopefully that's going to pull up. There we go.
Hey.
So we are with the leader as we're getting ready to go. Let's actually switch over to TV2. Yeah, TV2. See if we can get something up front. Hopefully the audio problems have been sorted out and folks can hear us over the car noises. But if anything isn't working still, just let us know. But we're getting ready to start us off, Finn. So we're getting ready to exit the final corner and... guessing away we go. Yep, he punches it.
Yep. Take our way. The LMP3 is going to have a pretty solid and smooth run here, but Sean Sullivan going to be trying to keep Luke Patrick honest on that second row there. The rest of the field going to fan out 2-3 wide. We have one flying off the edge there. I think that was Ryan Egel as the GT3s also take to the start.
Wanted to get a little bit of a chopper cam view as we get ready to go into turn one for the GT3s. 3 wide. Oh, man, that is such a squeeze on the inside there at La Source, but looks like everybody's getting through okay. I'm not seeing any sort of shenanigans as they head down towards Eau Rouge and Radion. Now, this is the place where it can get pretty sketchy on cold tires.
Yeah, they're going to have to sort it out quick. A couple of those
And the
drivers trying to go too wide through it.
Look like they are already through La Source, La Source, and now heading into Eau Rouge Radion. Jake Hewitt just gets an absolute blinder of a start. Fantastic run so far.
Oh, we got a bit of contact a little bit up the road from these GT4s, and that is going to be with a couple drivers.
Corey Lobner looks like he's falling down the order. Oh, he's back on track. Looks like he's sort of, Christopher Blue. I'm seeing Christopher Blue going down the order, but he looks like he's in the barrier. Let's see what we've got here. And they got GT4s coming, so Christopher Blue's got no wing. They're backing out of the way. And then that's going to be the GT4 runners moving through. Let's switch back over to some other folks. There's Robert Egel, and he's in the Panda Spec LMP3. We may actually have to hold the camera because there's just so much that's like swapping the auto cam around. Mark Robeson's moving through some GT4s, looks like. I think that was after not qualifying at the start, so.
Yes.
And, or he actually jumped to the pits. Jonathan Barrett looks like he's gone off track. Let's see if we can go back in time and see what happened to Jonathan here. He's going into
chaos.
Oh, he just loses the back end.
Yep.
Now he manages to save it from calamity, but he's in the middle of the road, but that's fine. He's going to get it straightened back out, and he's back on track.
Oh, narrowly avoids the barrier there as well.
That's
we
so
saw
crazy.
John Newman. I don't think we caught it quite on camera. John Newman having a similar incident in that corner, that moto line through Speaker's corner. And one of the many GT3s with cold tires, easy to catch yourself out. And now we have a bunch of GT3s trying to work their way back through GT4 traffic immediately as a result of spins and slides and the accidents that they've been dealing with earlier. Tanner Schiffner amongst those that have had a moment early on in the race. That's kind of broken up a little bit of our GT3 field. You see some more gaps there. Christopher Blue going to have that meatball flag that you can see on the side there, indicating that he has to come back down to pit lane to get that car fixed up. I think he is right at the process about to be diving in if he hasn't already.
We're going to go find some targeted battles to pay attention to right now. Right now, we're going to focus on Carter James in the 999 McLaren right now, who's trying to fight off, it looks like Austin Green in the Mustang. Let's take a look from the gearbox. We're going to pitch that down just a bit. Oh, man, they are super close. Very close. Getting ready to go into no name. He's pushing him.
Yep. Austin
He
Green
is pushing him. If we pull
making.
up that battle box real quick, you can take a look at where Carter James is sitting relative to the rest of the GT3 class. Currently trying to chase down Tyler Torville and Mike Gallant.
Mm-hmm. Not too far behind them either. You know, we're looking at Austin Green as well as Carter James, but there is a battle between Eduardo Zamora and Andrew Matthias, currently also right alongside them. And if they keep it together and don't battle each other too much, they have, I think, a pretty solid chance of getting caught back up to Austin Green and Carter James, especially if they keep fighting.
Just leveraging that
we get to
draft.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting the opportunity to leverage the draft as well as, you know, do a little bit of bump drafting and keeping each other moving the right direction.
Yeah, no need to worry about fuel saves, but
no.
Andrew Matthias in the background there. He's not far out of contention.
Not at all. Neither is, I think, Anthony Newman's kind of catching up to where Andrew Matthias and Eduardo Zamora currently are duking it out amongst all those.
Let's go back and take a look at this. We've got ourselves an incident with Alan Love and Sean Sullivan. Taking a look at Sean Sullivan as he's getting ready to come down towards the source. Feel like a spin. Yep, back end steps out. And I think Alan Love just kind of creeps around him.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably what was going on there.
Yeah, thankfully no incident there outside of a little bit of hurt pride getting that
Ryan
car
Nolan's
spun around.
marked off track. Let's go back a little bit further and see if we can understand what happened here. Oh, just loses the back end. I think he's in Stavlo 2 and then just grinds the wall right there and then just brings the car to a stop and jumps it back to the pits. Unfortunate.
Yeah, the suspension of that BMW.
Oh, we just tuned back in and Andrew Matthias is going off-road here at Pujon. I think there was a little bit of a touch there. Can we go back in time and see? Okay. Oh, yeah. Maybe a touch, maybe a little bit of net code.
Yeah, I think it was a net code touch for sure.
Yeah. But that said, going to be able to minimize the damage and get back out on track. Let's take a peek at some more close battles right now because we've still got a few going on. We'll switch back to live and jump over here and take a peek maybe at Gian Cardoso. He's in the 42 McLaren for Track Limits Racing. And he is chasing down Ian Southern, a newcomer, in the 32. We got a train of cars here. Todd Torville in the Ferrari. You know what? He may be the only Ferrari in the field.
I think he is, especially for what we currently have of our GT3s. That is our only Ferrari.
Calcifer's like there might be some right front damage, but I'm not a mechanic. I mean, I'm not a mechanic either, but I'm pretty sure there's some right front damage. I think that's a safe bet.
Battle's still a huge way up and down the grid, especially between Paul Miles as well as Herbert Pineda.
Yeah, let's go look at the Jake Fulton. So Jake Fulton's a little bit ahead of Herbert Pineda, and Herbert Pineda is being chased down by, I believe that is supposed to be Benjamin O'Shea and Robert Egel.
No, it's Paul Miles, who's a lap down in between Benjamin O'Shea and Herbert Pineda.
Gotcha.
Who Paul Miles, I think, had a did not take to the start. I'm not entirely sure
Yeah.
what's happened there.
All right. So
Paul Miles
Benjamin O'Shea breaks out of the
allowing.
slipstream. Paul Miles is not going to hold him up at all. And a little bit closer to Herbert Pineda now as that battle is getting closer. We're going to switch back over to Tommy Kogan right now, who's within striking distance of Eduardo Zamora. And Tommy Kogan coming back yet another round with the wedge, uh, slicing through the air.
Oh boy.
Just taking a peek at the rest of the data right now. Man, best lap so far is 210.9 from Jack Wilkins.
I'd say we haven't talked much about the LMP3 category, and that's largely because they've all been pretty much running their own races.
Yeah, with the exception of Benjamin O'Shea and Herbert Pineda.
Yeah, those are our two closest battles pretty much since lap 2.
Yeah.
Jack Wilkins had a great run initially. Luke Patrick also able to cement that P2 place early on, and minus Sean Sullivan having a spin there. I think there's one other spin. That class has been quite quiet.
Oh man, that looked dicey on entry into Eau Rouge.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was just trying to prevent a pass here, but I think that aggressive line through Eau Rouge has put him in striking distance of Gian. Gian on the outside going into Lake Home, and I think Gian's going to be able to take the spot.
Yeah, Gian had a great run as well throughout the entire Camel Straight to keep that position.
Yeah.
And Matthias, who's lost a little bit of time as a result of that moment earlier, is now going to be, I think, next in the crosshairs. As these two go too wide through Puhan, that is a risky pair of moves for both of those Mercedes GT3s.
Very good stuff. Let's jump back in time and watch this this pass right now of Tommy Kogan on Eduardo Zamora on the exit of Pujon. Just getting it done before LaFanny, and now moving up to 16th overall, up 5 spots, currently 6th in GT3. So good showing from Tommy Kogan in that respect. Let's switch back over to the live broadcast so we can get some more timings on screen for folks. Taking a look at the weather, we do have 19C for the ambient temperature with 22C on tracks. So tire degradation, I don't think is really going to be that big of an issue. I do still think pit strategy with fuel is going to be something people are going to have to work out. That 50% fuel tank for LMP3 and GT4, and then 45% for GT3 is going to be interesting. We get to that 90-minute feature.
Oh boy.
Here's the thing. The upper front of GT3 has been pretty calm. We haven't had too much going on right now, but Tyler Torville is making Mike Gallant. He's keeping him honest.
Mm-hmm. The midfield of GT3 has been pretty much a brawl from the start. The top end, like you talked about, quite quiet outside of Mike Gallant, just keeping everyone up there honest.
Go take a peek
Tyler Torville and Christopher Blue.
Yeah, go ahead.
I say with Tyler Torville and Christopher Blue, both kind of on his heels. It is one that he can't really rest much on the laurels for sure.
Look at this gaggle of cars. Yeah. GT3 is going into LaFanny right now, and Andrew Mathias in the 21, currently harassing Ryan Beauchesne. in the 6-4.
There was a pass and then repass for Ryan Beauchene as well as Matt Pyle,
Yeah.
which is, I think, brought them squarely into the sights of both Andrew Mathias and Gian Cardoso as a result. Exit out of Kurt Paul Frere, going to make Blanchimont a little bit of a slow one. Gian Cardoso has to lift to not run into Matthias. These two, once again, go too
They're
wide. They are just
teammates. Just
slowing each other down.
Oh no!
And
And
that's
there
going to create a
goes.
domino effect.
Yep.
And
I think that's going to
Ryan
take out
Beauchene
Ryan Beauchene, and I think one of the McLarens. I think that was
Matthias.
Andrew Mathias.
Yeah,
Oh, wait a minute,
Matthias
no,
in the
that was one of the
Corvette.
vets. Andrew
Yep.
Mathias getting caught up in that,
Gian
unfortunately.
Cardoso, his McLaren can't decide whether or not that front wing was supposed to be staying on or coming off. I say front wing, the front diffuser. So, I mean, for an interesting couple of corners here to see how that car feels as it keeps going. Ian Southern going to pick up a couple positions as a result of that. Matt Pyle going to manage to skirt away, despite, I think, being kind of involved in that racing incident.
Ryan Beauchene jump into the pits. We're on board with Scott Fleming in the serial Team 6 McLaren as he's trying to chase down Tim Rosenfield. Jake Hewitt has just run off. He's 4 seconds in the wind. And right now, the next closest battle between Scott Fleming and Tim Rosenfeld, I think Nick Bowen is currently intervaled to an LMP3. Yep. And then Henry Garcia is not far behind. But Chris Turner and Tim Mello going at it. Some inter-category battle happening right now in GT4 with Chris Turner in the number 9 Mustang being chased down by the Mellow Yellow Wholesome Community Motorsports Cayman. LMP3s are filtering through the GT4 traffic. That's going to be harrowing.
Yep. I think it's going to be interesting. We got about 15 minutes is the amount of time it takes for all the drivers in the LMP3 category to get back around to the GT4s. Much like we talk about all these classes, the GT4s also seem to keep getting quicker with the way they keep doing updates to the modeling.
Yeah.
So with that multi-class does usually break up a couple of the battles like the one we saw with Scott Fleming, as well as Nick Bowen to some extent.
I believe that is Paul Miles trying to figure out his opportunity to try and make a move, and I think he's decided on the entry to Poolholm that this is the place. And, whoa, that LMP3 is catching up to Tim Mello.
Something quick. Robert Edgell. Kind of try to get around both of these.
Yep, Robert.
Not an easy task.
Yep, it's tough. Multi-class racing is tough. Oh, we got big news here. We got Nathaniel Baker in a crash.
Yeah.
We're exiting Rivage, getting ready to go into No Name. What happens here? Oh, back end just goes out, and then that's it. And he manages to back it up, get it straightened out, and back on track. I don't think he lost any positions relative to the field, but that definitely that was tricky for sure.
Lost a little bit of time there. Has to work it back, but otherwise is okay.
Carter Jones with less than 3 minutes, or Carter James with less than 3 minutes in the 999, hanging on to P3, white knuckle in that position all the way to the end as he's got Anthony Newman just hounding his mirrors.
Yes, we just see if Anthony Newman makes the look, probably about 2 more laps, including this one. There's the look as they go into Blanchimont.
He's showing it to him early into Blanchimont. Interesting. Wonder if he's
It
just
cost
trying
him a lot
to.
of time in the process.
Yeah, I wonder if he was just trying to throw him off a little bit, but I think that lost him some time towards the bus stop. He wasn't able to make a play for it, or maybe he's just spacing him out. He's just like, I'm going to space it out, and I'm going to stay close to the back end as we get ready to go into La Source. Maybe that's the place. I don't know. He's applying the pressure.
This should be the white flag for them.
Interesting.
Not 100%.
So I think Jack may get across the line to start another one before the end. But I don't think he's going to be able to make the move this time as they get ready to go into Lake Home. We're going to switch back a little bit further as Tommy Cogan and Austin Green are going at it.
Yeah, Tommy Cogan throwing the fake there.
Yep. Trying to fake him out. And Jake Fulton, and I believe that is Herbert Pineda going at it as we go in. Did I miss something? Is Jack Wilkins in the pits? Jack Wilkins is in the pits. I'm pretty sure this is not the end of the race. Is he not fueled for this? That's unfortunate if that's the case.
I think that is the case.
So Luke Patrick currently now going down the F1 start finish, I think, and then the
endurance.
Yeah, the endurance start finish, and he's inherited the lead of this race, and now Garrett Hillman, Herbert Pineda have moved up in the order. Just taking a look.
Jack Wilkins in the box for 3.75 seconds. Literally just needs another lap of fuel.
Unfortunate. Now he's going to be able to sneak out potentially in front of Robert Eggle, and then I believe that is he's going to be able to at least maintain some positions relative to the next lap. Going back to Corey Lobner now, and Ian Southern. Or no, that has Corey Lobner and Matt Pyle going at it. Excuse me. Ian Southern in the background, waiting to see what's going to happen here. Man, the looks like the clouds have gone and the sun's out.
Yeah, the sun has come out to play once again. The overcast of the morning looks like it's gone away, at least for the moment. No rain on the forecast. Has Corey Lobner working his way around now, Matt Pyle, who I think is now trying to do a desperate fuel save to not have to pit on the last lap.
Yeah, oh man, side by side going into Eau Rouge. That's brave.
Yep, and multi-class traffic.
Very brave.
Paul York.
Yep. Luke Patrick hitting the bus stop, inheriting the lead of this race as he's getting ready to exit the final corner towards the finish. And that is going to be the heat race to Luke Patrick. Garrett Hillman coming across the line in second place. Herbert Pineda Sr. now exiting the bus stop just now in front of Jake Fulton. Jake Fulton looks like he's going to take the top spot in LMP3 AM. Big result for him. And we've still got the GT3 runners going through LaFanny right now. Although, looking right now at the gap, 6 seconds between Mike Gallant and Tyler Torville. So I think they're going to be, I think we're actually going to get the GT4 Pros in first before we get anything else. Let's take a look. So yeah, exiting the final corner, Jake Hewitt, who has absolutely just blitzed off into the distance, going to take that top finish as Mike Gallant right now getting ready to enter the bus stop. Also looks like Chris Turner is going to come across the line with the top spot in GT4 AM. He's going to finish, I believe that is 6th overall, 7th overall.
I believe that is, seventh in GT4 overall.
Yeah.
And a pretty wild and good run there for him.
Yeah. We got we've got Victor and Thiago gonna the two Brazilians gonna round out the the top spots in GT4 AM. Good results for them. We got a few more cars still waiting to come across the line.
Carter
And
James is going to get absolutely taken out by Todd Turville at the end of this, as he was out of gas going through Blanchimont, just so much slower.
yeah.
So that's going to be a bit of a rough one for those drivers.
And with that, I think we are basically to the point where we can switch over to the scenic view. We're just waiting for another couple flags to post, swap over to the warm up for the feature race, and then we'll get you guys the results that you want to see and get that queued up, actually. So if we empty this out and clear this out, get that race info pulled up as we're getting the results set up. Let's go to. Can I get the results for LMP3 Pro? Will that show? I don't think it will yet.
Not until we get proper results. We're still waiting, I think, a couple of drivers to come across the finish line. That's the only reason we're waiting. I think we now have results for Heat 1 for each class, as we're now properly in warm-up.
I was hoping I was going to get it. Oh, there it is. Heat 1 results? Maybe? Yeah, there it goes. Sorry. All right, so LMP3 Pro, Luke Patrick, Garrett Hillman, Herbert Pineda are your top 3 spots, with Benjamin O'Shea, Jack Wilkins, who ran out of fuel a little early, needed that splash and dash. He's going to come across the line in 5th, with Robert Egel and Nathaniel Baker rounding out the top the 7 LMP3 Pro. Let's take a look at LMP3 AM. I'll go through those real quick. Jake Fulton on top with Sean Sullivan and Alan Love are your top 3. Justin Wilming and Paul Miles are your 5 LMP3 AM runners. Finn, GT3 folks.
Absolutely. Look like Mike Gallant going to take home the win there in the heat race. A fantastic and consistent drive leads him there. Tyler Turville going to be in 2nd, with Anthony Newman rounding out in 3rd. The likes Austin Green going to come home in 4th there. Tommy Kogan rounded out that top 5. Eduardo Zamora, Corey Lobner, Matt Pyle, as well as Ian Southern and Gian Cardoso rounding out the top 10. I believe we got a few more drivers in this GT3 category. And I'm trying to remember exactly who they are. We are the likes of Andrew Matthias, Todd Torville, Tanner Schiffner, John Newman, as well as Mike Bowen, Mark Robeson, and a whole host more.
Yeah.
I'm quite blind, so I'm moving where I'm going to find these 4.
Here, I got you. I got you. We'll just jump
yes,
over to
thank you.
GT4 because we're going to get ready to grid up here in a minute.
Yep.
GT4 Pro, Jake Hewitt and Tim Rosenfeld are your top 2 spots. Scott Fleming takes the 3rd spot in GT4 Pro. With Nick Bowen, Henry Garcia, Tim Mello are your top 6. Jaden Ledbetter in 7th in front of Robert Lewis. And Paul York is 9th, with that being all the GT4 Pro runners. GT4 AM, we've got Chris Turner, Victor Leedy, and then Tiago Alves and Jonathan Barrett are your top 4. Apologies to Victor that I sound like a stroke patient every time I say your last name. It's just because I don't know how to read. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's not your name. It's the fact I can't read. All right. So that is our results. Now that I'm done butchering people's names, let's go back over to race info as we get ready to talk about the feature. Again, we've got that fuel tank differential coming up. We've got the 45% capacity for GT3s, 50% for LMP3 and GT4, 90-minute feature race. We've got about 35-ish minutes of fuel for GT4 LMP3, maybe about 30 minutes for GT3. What do you think of the stops situation? You think it's going to be a clean 2 for
should
GT3?
be a clean 2, I believe. And then there might be a little bit of fuel saving, but it should be a clean 2 at least, depending on how conservative or successful they are at managing that fuel capacity. Then I don't think they should have too many issues. I think we will not see any tire stops if I had to guess. Um, they, s- I think there's no huge fall off for those tires by the end of 90 minutes for any of the classes. So they should be pretty solid fuel ones, unless they want to take tires. I don't remember if we're implementing the sequential tires and fuel now that we can do that whenever we want instead of a mandatory one or the other.
Yeah, it's going to be. I believe it is. So I do know it's going to be IMSA rules on tires, fuel, same time. I think they can still take
Yeah,
alternating versions of they got alternating strategies they can pick from. So
yeah.
I think it's going to be interesting. But yeah, 90 minutes at Spa. We didn't talk about this too much, but your experience with Spa as a track, in my
Mhm,
estimation, like Spa is one of those tracks that it's got a lot of technical challenge to it, in my opinion,
mhm.
because it's really a combination of like a power circuit with like a really long technical section, quote unquote, in the middle. Uh, Sector 3, Sector 1 are kind of, if you bolt them together, is like a straight up just like pedal to the metal, high down, medium down force, low down force, trying to get as much speed as possible. And then you've got that
Mhm.
technical section in Sector 2 where more aero compliant cars are going to get the bigger benefit.
Yeah.
So I'm just interested to see what are your thoughts on Spa as a track.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. It very much feels, in terms of tempo, similar to the likes almost of Bathurst if you were a little bit kinder to yourself, as
Mhm.
well as you didn't have to run around a mountain.
Yeah.
But the concept of there's these nice long straightaways to bookend a lap, the start finish line planted right in the middle of those long straight sections, and then you have
Mhm.
these super technical. This one, obviously, I equate it similarly to Bathurst, but this one's a little bit more kind in how it's not all or nothing, but it does have this super technical, and it has, I would say, a lot of similar corners, but no two that are the same. So you have to really understand the nuance in each one that you're going through. Um, because Blanchiment is very different than Eau Rouge and Radiant, even though they are both, I would say, high speed, flat out kink of corners. Where you're just adding a little bit of, steering input to make sure your car doesn't go flying into a barrier. But how you apply that, the turn, how much you apply the actual turning of the wheel versus, just with Blanchiment, just that little, you know, touch of the wheel and then just letting it slide almost as it goes across the track there, especially in the GT3s and GT4s. It's super fun. It's one you have to set up the car to both be as fast as you can get down the Camel Straight and the end of Blanchiment into the bus stop, but one you also need to make sure you have just enough that you can manage through the rest of Lake Colm as well as that technical second sector. Um, it's such a fun track. It's one of my oldest endurances that I've always done here, and it's always so much fun. But yeah, definitely one you cannot, I think, you cannot phone it in ever.
Yeah.
Not that you really do with any track, but like this one will very quickly bite you if you don't remember the nuance between the corners.
Indeed. Safety car will be coming in at the exit to the bus stop. Patrick will have control of the field as they get ready to go to the start finish line. Just looking real quick at the numbers, it looks like we have all 46 cars on track for the feature race, so we didn't lose anyone from the heat race. So
Heck
attrition
yeah.
numbers pretty good going into the first feature race. Hopefully that sticks through to the end. Good points
Hmm.
on offer for anybody that wants to try and finish these races, especially with the field being compressed, especially in GT4, I think. Luke just pedaled the metal and he's gone. And that's going to put Benjamin O'Shea, Garrett Hillman side by side as they're getting ready to go into La Source. They are almost touching.
Oh,
Benjamin O'Shea
that is,
just throwing it down the inside and a little bit of a wiggle from Garrett Hillman.
oh,
And now he's under threat from Jake Fulton.
yeah.
And then we got the
Those GT3s.
GT3s. Yep.
A little more patience on the throttle there for Mike Gallant, but he is going to get away pretty cleanly as well. Once again, kind of that second row of the grid, Austin Green, as well as the likes of Anthony Newman, going to be duking it out for that bottom spot of the podium. 2 wide, almost 3 wide throughout most of that field, getting themselves squared away. I think we saw a bit of a car going sideways amongst all that. Yeah, there it is. He's backwards down the old pit entrance as the GT4s are also making their way through the source.
Yeah. Trying to get all these cars through this first lap as safely as we can. And now we are on our way down towards Eau Rouge and Radion, up towards the front of the field. Jake Hewitt makes his way through everybody single file pretty much through Eau Rouge and Radion, but it looks like Tim Mello is about to make a jump on Henry Garcia.
Garcia with a slow run through Eau Rouge and Radion, able to keep the car out of trouble, which is what cost him that speed, but just enough to keep ahead of Chris Turner, who decides to play it safe. Much like the GT3s, GT4s need a little bit of time to get those tires up temperature, have half a lap, which isn't a whole lot. And you're going to see them use as much of the curbing as they can. They have those suspensions so compliant since they kind of refactored a lot of those for that GT4 grid for those older machines like McLaren and the Porsche, as well as the Mercedes GT4. Not that it really needed it, but it got a little bit of an update as well. All of them now have, I think, a little bit more love in how much they can attack curbing, as well as, you know, really be thrown around. Feel a lot more like, you know, the M2 Cup and production cars, which is kind of more their goal anyway, and where they sit in that kind of transition point between production-based machinery and more purpose-built GT style machines.
So LMP3s right now look like they are making their way, but we had a massive wreck.
Gosh.
Okay, we're going to jump back. I want to see what happened here, because I think it may have started with Mark. Let's look. Getting ready to go into Stavlo. Oh, they just touch. I wonder if there was a bit of a flicker, because one car was like flickering. I wonder if it was like wonder if it might have been a netcode issue. Something went down, but that was a massive shunt.
I think it was almost a clock smash based on the way that happened. And that saw a couple cars get caught up in it.
Yeah.
I can't tell if Austin Green there had his own issue amongst all that.
Yeah.
Or if he was wrapped up in it as well.
Gonna jump back, because I believe Tyler Torville might have gotten involved in something a little bit later. Although, actually, let's jump back. Carter James into Blanchimont, goes sideways. He's trying to save it, touches the wall. Oh no, we've already got wrecks all over the place. Oh, he comes back on track. I mean,
great heads up driving out of Christopher Blue, though.
Yeah, Christopher Blue just absolutely
and then
we got tires, we got cars breaking all over the place. I think we got what is happening in the background.
Yes.
Holy cannoli. We're going to go back in time. We're going to go back in time. I want to see what happens here, because this just seems like this just goes completely pear-shaped. So that's Austin Green still trying to get back on track at the exit of, I believe that is the Fanny chicane. We've got a Lambo going sideways. So that's Tyler Torville.
This is what started.
And he keeps it off, but Tommy Kogan goes into the wall too.
His own instant. Yeah.
But what happened here? I think that might have involved Matt a little bit. No, Tommy just loses it. Both Lambos losing it.
Oh. As well as Carter James, who almost takes out Christopher Blue. Matt Pyle manages to get away without a scratch. It is pretty
cold
solid.
tires just catching everybody out. Yeah, Christopher Blue. We're gonna go. Let's go live. Let's go live and check in. We're doing a wellness check. Christopher Blue still alive. Yep.
Good.
Heart's still beating. Good to hear.
Still moving in the right direction.
Yep. Good to hear.
Hasn't spun around. We're good.
Indeed.
Blue's doing well. Battles all up and down the LMP3 grid right now.
Yeah, we're going to jump in and take a look at that.
4 grid.
So I think GT3s, they're going to be settling into what kind of race strategy can I salvage out of this.
Yes.
But when you've got that many people involved in that many incidents, there's a lot of points on offer
Mhm.
now. Like
Yeah.
GT3 kind of just kind of
Oh,
oh
Luke Patrick's
Luke
also going to join him.
Luke Patrick saves it. Can he keep it out of the
Yep,
wall when correcting?
he
Yes.
does.
All right, so all right. That's a reset moment. Okay, got to get your head back in the game.
Hmm.
Just okay. Your rears are going to be really overheated, so maybe take it super easy through Pujon into sector 2 here, the hardest sector 2.
Hmm. Can I grab the gap intervals
Yeah,
on the
absolutely you
timing
can.
tower?
Mm.
Love that. I just would love to see with my eyeballs on our. Said I have a couple on my end, but I want to make sure that I'm not missing them because
Well,
none
also
of
the
my
people at
data
home
is.
probably want to see him too. So good call on you,
Yes, that is
sir.
also true.
Yeah.
That is also true. But I want to make sure that what I'm seeing on my data, which is not a complete data set, mimics what I'm seeing there. And battles for GT for LMP3 still pretty close,
Yeah.
especially as pretty much the top five, especially when you look at both Jack Wilkins and
Benjamin
Garrett
O'Shea.
Hillman.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
well,
Garrett
and Benjamin
Hillman.
O'Shea.
Yeah, yeah. I see it now.
So like those are all tackling that. We got a couple of lap traffic coming out of pit lane from their incidents earlier.
Oh,
Sean
okay.
Sullivan
So Sean
leaving no
Sullivan
room for
has
error.
yeah, let's get that roll bar
Yeah.
getting ready to go into Eau Rouge and Radion. Radillion, as we say in the South. GT4 is
Oh,
just like, nope.
you-
I'm gonna get right like Taco Bell. I'm gonna make a run for the off track.
yep. I am not getting involved. I will take the slowdown penalty so that way I do not get killed or kill someone in the process accidentally.
All right, so through Lake Home right now, Sean Sullivan is just really trying to keep Jake
See Jake
Fulton
Fulton
honest.
pulling so much pace, but a big,
Oh,
huge snap there is going to cost him.
yep.
I think that'll see that
It's going to
position
cost
drop
him two
down
spots because I think
two.
Herbert
Yeah,
Pineda is going to be able to sneak around as well. And just
yeah.
like that, Jake
Overall,
Fulton's got Luke Patrick, who's going to be trying to climb the order back up in the 121.
mhm. You can see
Craziness.
already how spread out that GT3 field is based on the way those dots are all lining the Campbell Straight.
Yeah.
This, I think, the closest battle in
Hmm.
the class, or one of two close battles, and everything else is, I think, separated by seconds at least.
Yeah. Taking a look on the exit of No Name. They're giving each other what for. But if we actually jump back, Scott Fleming right now, he's got a GT3 in front of him and he's flashing. It's hilarious. He's got the Ferrari.
Uh,
I think that was one of the Ferraris that got tangled in. I think that was Todd Torville. I called it a
mhm,
Lambo
I think it
earlier.
was.
I was completely wrong. To no one's shock or surprise. Um, ooh, here we go. Here we go. Chris
Mhm.
Turner and Beltan are going at it. Let's get
Looks.
some roll bar look here into Lake Home right now
Oh yeah, let's do it.
as Robert Lewis in the 949 Sim Racing GT4 AMG
Yep.
is taking it to Chris Turner as they get ready to go into Rivage on the brakes. There's an Apex in there. Um,
Such a fun roller coaster of a corner when you
yeah,
take it.
absolutely. Let's get I want to get another TV2 shot of this because I just want to compare the size of the Mustang to the AMG. It just looks like a monster
Mhm.
truck. Uh,
Yeah, the Mustang
the big boy.
absolutely looks
Ooh,
like a chonker. Late on the brakes for Chris Turner is going to cost him a little bit of time there. See if Beltan able to find a move. Definitely has the pace now. Looking for the opportunity. One, you got to set up. Use the momentum to your advantage.
good stuff. Oh, Jaden is
Oh
taking the
my
autocross
god.
line out of Stavlo too.
Yeah, he wants to hang out with the New World Sim Racing.
Okay. All right. All right. Oh, they're getting ready to go into Blanchimont. They're nose to tail practically as we get ready to go into the bus stop here. Looks like Beltan backed out just a little bit before the entry to Blanchimont. I do
Didn't
like
have better.
how with the modeling they've done on the GT4s, man. I really like watching the suspension model when they
Oh
throw
yeah,
on the boat anchors. We might get to see it
the
on the
body
entry here.
roll.
You watch the car dive.
Yep.
Yep. A little bit
It,
of
it looks
yeah, it looks cool.
super realistic too. Like, um, getting to watch these cars, the Michelin Pilot Series, in real life in a couple places, it's super fun to kind of see that. Oh my gosh, big lunge out of Ryan
Oh,
Beauchesne
Ryan
there.
Beauchesne. They are
Whoa!
side by side going through Pujon, and he does not
Oh,
care. He's like, I'm getting this
and
spot back, and there is a front end missing on that AMG.
and neither does Carter James, who's right behind these two, trying to find his own way through because he needs to get around.
Yep,
He
Ryan
needs to make
Beauchesne.
it look.
Yep, I believe that is in front of Austin Green and Carter
Mhm.
James, and Ryan Beauchesne in the pile driving AMG is just like, I don't need a front end to win. Like I'm here to play.
Mercedes does lose a little bit of time technically because it doesn't have a front end. It is
You mean with the
surprisingly minimal.
with the wide open mouth just gulping air down straightaways? The maw?
Yes. Oh, I got to look under the hood of one of these today, and it was super fun to see
Very
the inner
cool, very
workings of
cool.
Mercedes.
All right, we're going to take a look at the front of LMP3 where there is a battle, ladies and gentlemen.
Hmm.
Jack Wilkins, Benjamin O'Shea going toe to toe here in Sector 2. You're watching season 2 of 2026, the sports car series. We're at round 1 Spa.
Hmm.
We got multi-class action. We are 12 and a half minutes ish into the feature race, the 90-minute feature. So I'm trying to keep a mental cue on when that pit stop's about to happen so that we can maybe switch over to the pit data and see if we can get an understanding of what people are going to be doing in terms of pit stops here.
Hmm. You're going to see multi-class action begin like we saw last time, about 15 minutes in.
Yep.
See the leaders of this class work their way through, and this battle in the midfield is Chris Turner still fighting with Beltan, as well as Jaden Ledbetter, who is taking less of an autocross line this lap, and I'm quite excited.
Yep.
There are incident penalties for getting a certain number of X's for
Whoa.
either off tracks or moments there like
Very
that.
deep. Very deep. Not at all. Whoa, we got an LMP3 weaving through the
Yep.
field here.
I think that's probably why he ended up a little deep, as he was trying to
Leave him to space. Although there was a bit of a drift moment there for Jaden Ledbetter as he is too fast, too furious on the exit of Radion.
Well, I think he was trying not to run into the LMP3 that was also trying to get by him at the exact same moment.
Indeed. Jumping up into the GT3s right now, we've got, I believe that is newcomer Alexander Vitoshkin, locking horns with the 530 of Christopher Blue in the bus stop.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them currently running 9th and 10th respectively in the GT3 category.
They've had a pretty quiet race so far. The GT3s, they kind of got spread out a little bit earlier. Once again, that lap 1 craziness out of Blanchimont saw Christopher Blue as well as I think Alexander both check up pretty heavily to not get involved in an incident there. And so that gap pretty spread out as a result. You can see how much blue there is floating around the track map there as these drivers work their way through.
Eduardo Zamora taking an early pit stop. I don't see anything with Eduardo Zamora right now, so I'm just looking at the data.
Look.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that. Let me jump back to it. Like right in the moment, in the moment when I'm looking at pit data and I'm like, hey, Tommy Kogan diving in the pits too on lap 6.
Okay.
So we might have
Chris
some early
Blue
pitters.
got a good run to hold the nose in on the outside of the first corner in the Camel
We got a
corner
we got a
for Lake
jump
Holm.
here. We got a
That's
side
fair.
by side battle. Paul Miles going deep into the bus stop. I think he's going to leapfrog that Justin Wilming
Hmm.
that he's duking it out with right now. So Paul Miles currently in third on the LMP3 AM leaderboard.
Excited to see like much like we always talk about most of these seasons. The M categories of LMP3 and GT4 are some of my favorite to watch
Yep.
them both develop as drivers as well as see how these
Mhm,
championships
mhm,
shake
mhm.
up. And you can see the patience there out of Justin to not immediately go for the dive, who ends up going really wide as a result. Keeps it together.
Yep.
So
So that's going to spread the field out a little bit more right there. So we're going to jump back to that really close battle right now. I'm just looking up and down the order right now, and it looks like uh, Alexander is still all over the gearbox of Christopher Blue.
yeah, Alexander has seems to have the pace as it stands. Christopher Blue keeping that car in the right spot to not allow too much of a dive or a look. We'll have to see if he goes for another overtake attempt out of the Camel Straight. A little bit slower through there, but the draft will definitely allow him to catch back up pretty quickly.
Just watching some other data, it looks like Matt Pyle and Gian Cardoso and Tanner Schiffner are locked in a three-way. Although it looks like Gian may have made out on that. We're going to jump back and take a peek, see what went down here into Lake Home. Oh, there's a touch.
Whoa. Good catch out of it, though.
Gian finds his way around. Tanner Schiffner finds his way around. And that's got the field sorted over there. Taking a peek back in GT4. We got some more GT3 traffic. Dave Schneider moving through the GT4 field, trying to work his way back up towards the front. That has opened up the gap to a little over a half second between Chris Turner, Robert Lewis. Daniel Baker, and I believe that is Garrett Hillman going at it into Lake Home. There is a rear end missing from a Ferrari. Not sure how that's
Oh,
holding
yeah.
together.
Todd Torvo.
I don't think it's holding together at all. In fact, we're going to figure out
No.
why it's not holding together as we get ready
Yeah.
to go into the bus stop. Comes out. Oh, the back end
Oh,
just
it's too
spins.
much.
Oh, and because he's already passed the pit
Ooh.
exit, can't do anything
Yep.
about it. He's going to have to limp the thing around.
Yep.
Unfortunate for Todd Torville.
There, finally, the rear end decides it's not sticking around. These two continue as Garrett Hillman almost runs into the back end there. He lost him a little bit of time as he checked up, slows him down that bus stop, opens up that gap once again.
Oh. I'm sorry, I'm having some trouble with the interface. Give me one moment. There we go. Apologies, folks. You're getting a nice shot of a rear camera there while SDK is Got me juggling. Two.
Having a moment.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where the interface sometimes gives me troubles. I think
Mhm.
it's just because I think I'm just boomering it. It's fine. Don't worry about it, folks. Herbert Perneda Sr. It's like he's gonna make a move. I think that's him and Luke Patrick going at it.
Yeah, I think Luke Patrick trying to make the move actually on Herbert Pineda, where he's been recovering that drive. Oh man, Dave Schneider going to get out of the way. Those two drivers really looking to not
Indeed.
get involved. Use of the off track there. Oh, big moment of oversteer for Herbert Pineda. Going to bring it back into a fight with Luke Patrick. Luke Patrick probably not super thrilled after that slide early to be stuck behind
So 9
Herbert
laps in.
Pineda.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. 9 laps in. What do you got?
9 laps in on the GT3s. I'm just watching them right now, trying to determine when the pit stops are about to fire for those guys. Oh, we got a big one here. Let's go back.
Okay.
I believe we got Benjamin O'Shea involved in something. Oh, he's trying to
Oh,
get in
and
front of a GT3, I believe, and then they go into the
yep.
bus stop. And that's got to
That's
be
going to
net
cause
code. There was some
contact.
daylight there.
Yeah.
Uh,
There's definitely daylight. Also, bit of a moment there
yeah. Looks
that
like
lead.
he's moving forward, though.
Hmm. Car looks surprisingly fine, which I think adds to your net code point further.
Okay. All right, let's jump back to live as that's been shaken out. Like Nathaniel Baker and Garrett Hillman still going at it. We got other fights on track. We got a bunch of close ones. Giancarloso's in one. We still got the battle between Christopher Blue and Alexander Vitoshkin. Tommy Kogan in a close one. Dave Schneider still trying to get back up to the rear end of the GT3 field, but staying with it. With the race
Mhm.
strategy, I think there's really good points on offer, so I applaud him for staying with it.
Absolutely.
Right now, actually, as Tommy Kogan and John Newman are going at it. And they got 2 LMP3s that are potentially going to split the middle as we go into Lafayette.
Still going to find a side to slide around. Got out of trouble. But only barely. Tommy Kogan probably not super happy to be thrust out wide twice in 2 corners.
Yeah.
You see him flashing his lights. That definitely confirms that one. Obviously, those 3 drivers in the LMP2. Tommy Kogan continuing to let himself be known. He's not super thrilled with how that all shook out. Just Welding, Paul Miles, as well as Alan Love, I think, are the 3 drivers there. All working their way through multi-class traffic, and Tommy Kogan now being held up by them, it looks like.
Yeah. I'm looking through the field right now. We're getting a little more spread out. I think the closest battle we got right now, I mean, it's not super duper close. Got Tanner Schiffner and other one we got Andrew Mathias and Carter James. Well, no, Carter James is a little bit further back. But Andrew Mathias is starting to catch Alexander Vitoshkin. Looking back through the data. We're going to see a look as we get into Blanchimont.
Interesting.
Andrew Matthias working his way up the order. Hope everybody's going in the pits. Here we go. Yep. We're
So
kicking
many.
it
Yep.
off. We're kicking it off. Yeah. Right here at, I believe that is 11 laps. So 22 laps from now, we could probably expect to see them all try to make jumps.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to stay with it right now as Mike Gallant on his way out. Tanner Schiffner in the AMG looks like he's going to be able to maybe sneak another lap of fuel. Mike Gallant's going to come out on track down the rundown to Eau Rouge and Radion. Only a few spots jumped. Looks like Corey Lobner, Eduardo Zamora all making jumps.
Mm.
Eduardo Zamora in the box for 13.87 seconds.
Yeah.
Got a 6-second delta. Man, you want to talk about a biggie right here. We got Mark Robeson in the box for 5 seconds. I do not
doesn't
know.
Sound
that does
quite
not
right.
sound legit. That sounds like I have missed something. Oh, that's because he pitted on lap 1 and I don't know how to read. So ignore me, folks.
Oh, yeah.
We've got the LMP3s diving in as well now. And looks like we got a little bit of drag racing on the finish there. But Nathaniel Baker and Luke Patrick look like they're going to try and milk maybe a few more laps. Jake Fulton out there as well with them. You can look waiting to see when the GT4s are going to pull the trigger. We got Scott Fleming and Tim Rosenfields duking it out for second place.
Christopher Blue also finally getting passed by Alexander.
Yeah, I think that was down to that pit stop. 21.48 seconds in the box for Christopher as opposed to a 20.43. So gave up almost a second on Alexander when he was in the box. So I think Mark Robeson's going to have to pit, I believe, this next lap. And then he should shuffle down the order a good chunk. GT4 is coming into the box right now. Jay Hewitt leading the way. Tanner Schiffner in right now. Let's take a look at Mike Gallant and see where he's going to... Mike Gallant now just hitting the bus stop. I think he's going to be able to clear... Yeah, he's going to clear him. And going to be out in front of Tanner Schiffner. Anthony Newman's also going to leapfrog. Corey Lobner coming across the line. Eduardo Zamora. Yeah, Tanner Schiffner's going to start shuffling down that order. Although he's now on his out lap. We're going to see when he clears. 20.15 for Tanner Schiffner in the box. So I think that's a pretty good pit stop, relatively speaking.
It's about, just like maybe a little bit more longer than I think a couple of our faster ones, but only by a few tenths.
Yeah.
So very much on par with that pace.
Yep.
The Nathaniel Baker and Luke Patrick going to dive in for their first pit stop as well.
And Jake Fulton's going to find his way around. Jack Wilkins on the exit of the bus stop also looks like he's going to make the leapfrog on Luke Patrick and Nathaniel Baker. I suspect they'll cycle down a good chunk. Let's take a look
consistently
back in GT4s. Chris Turner's going to come out behind Jaden Ledbetter. So Chris Turner still the top spot in GT4 AM with Jonathan Barrett and Victor Liede.
Diving through the data, kind of keeping an eye on things. Close battle, kind of picking back up after the pit cycle. And with the way the kind of the math or the drive is going, in theory, they may need to come in for a splash towards the end of this race if they aren't able to find a little bit more fuel
Yeah.
savings.
Upward worm. Let's go, Mike and Jack. Yep. So Jack right now, he's in second, trailing behind Jake Fulton. He's about 13 seconds back. Jake Fulton going into the pits now. So he's going to... Jack Wilkins should inherit the lead of the race here. Mike, in the meantime, currently 3 seconds ahead of Anthony Newman. You can see that shot in the distance right there. And looks like Andrew Mathias and Alexander Vitoshkin right back at it after the pit stops. Comparable times, about 2/10 difference, right?
Definitely thereabouts. Trying to find out what happened to Mark Robeson. Sliding and trying to see if he had like help or if it was
Well,
just the way that
Mark
car
had to
caught.
pit on lap 12. He pitted initially on lap 1. Oh, he's going back in again.
Yeah, he just had an incident that I was watching. So I was watching the battle between Nathaniel Baker and Herbert Pineda as they were working through multi-class traffic, and
see if we
he looks like he got loose. You can see, you can showcase it here.
And he didn't want to. He didn't want to turn into the LMP3, so he took it to the wall. Unfortunate for Mark. But man, if he'd have kept the spin, he would have absolutely obliterated that LMP3.
Yeah, Herbert Pineda would have definitely been caught up in that had he not, taken out, spun the wheel back the other direction and caused it to go out into the wall.
Whoa, what an exit out. What happened out of Stavlo?
Oh.
Looks like Andrew Mathias not appreciating whatever went down there. In this battle between Carter James and Christopher Blue through the bus stop. So the field's starting to spread out. So I think at this point, folks, we're going to be buckling in for the next 2/3 of this race to really see what people are doing from a strategy perspective. We're going to have a few key battles that are going to appear here and there, but I think we're going to see mostly the field kind of like rubber band back out a little bit.
Huge moment. Andrew Mathias and Alexander still continuing the battle they had just a moment ago. Vitoshkin kind of hold the defensive line. Christopher Blue gonna try to capitalize. They're gonna lean right on the door. Carter James right at the back end of these 4 drivers. All of them trying to find a way through.
Good fight right here. Man, it's starting to compress that field too. We're going to be a 4-way, I think, here in a moment.
Oh, Andrew Mathias having a huge moment amongst all that.
Yeah, can we see what happened there with Andrew? What happened there? So if we go back,
Looks like he just got a little. He braked, I think, braked a little bit, had it slide on him, braked to correct it, and that just cost him time.
And then here he comes back on Carter James.
And Christopher Blue.
Maybe a bump draft happening there. Oh, Carter James.
Oh,
Oh, on the brakes. Just a little wiggle. Keeps it.
try not to kill
Man,
Andrew Matthias in the process.
that was close. That was so
Mhm.
close. Let's jump back and take a look at some GT4s because we haven't been seeing too much of them. Jonathan Barrett in the Canada 87 Cayman, currently chasing down Robert Lewis in the 949. And this is for 8th overall in GT4, I believe.
I believe so. That's what I'm seeing on my end.
Whoa, that is a deep exit into Blanchimont. Alexander Vitoshkin in the pits. Interesting. This is his second pit stop. I wonder why. Very interesting. That drops him completely out of the battle. Meanwhile, Christopher Blue now in the battle with Andrew Matthias.
Wait, what? Holensky is still keeping up with Matthias. Right? Oh.
Yeah, Golden Riders in here cheering on Christopher Blue. Locked in this battle with Andrew Matthias. Whoa. Okay. Cool. Getting some all right, thanks. Don't know what button I pressed that gave us results overlay.
Oh,
Go figure.
yeah. You know, like you do.
Ooh, Alexander Vitoshkin crashing. I think Alexander's whatever triggered that pit stop. I don't know what it was. Oh, and then the back end goes out into the wall, and that's going to be some decent damage to the front end. He's going to back it up and then just take it straight to the pits. Not even gonna try. Unfortunate. So Andrew Matthias gets the move done. Now Carter James is wanting a piece of the action. Just taking a look at GT4s. Like Robert Lewis may have caught up to Chris Turner, perhaps?
That sounds correct. A little
No,
bit.
incorrect. It is Chris Turner is catching up to Jaden Ledbetter. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're good. Now we're good. A little bit of the dirt. Okay. Never hurt anyone. GT3s right now, currently where most of the action is. We got a little bit of action up in LMP3s, perhaps. Here, let's actually get those, pull those gaps up. Let's see. Relative.
Due to multi-class, I think Jake Fulton and let's say, sorry, Sean Sullivan are into a battle as well in the LMP3 AM
Yeah,
category.
yeah. The other battle I'm watching. I'm waiting to see what this LMP3 is going to do on the exit of Radion. Looks like it's going to be
Mhm.
clean. Switch back over as we head down the run down towards Eau Rouge.
Cool moment there. Jake Fulton's
3
going to try to
wide.
see if he can't capitalize on it.
3 wide and a Rivage is a choice.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Ooh,
maybe a
a
little
little
bump
contact
there.
there.
I think Tyler Torville's not too
Yep.
appreciative.
No. Probably neither is Jake Fulton, though.
Gonna open that gap up. So we will switch back to the battle. Christopher Blue's coming back at Andrew Mathias. He's not letting him get away.
Yeah, Chris Blue been finding that consistency uh, over these past couple laps to dive back into a battle there. Multi-class also going to be helping amongst all this. Carter James, however, wanting to capitalize on it as well. Going to make the look down the inside this time by. It's not going to be enough, at least initially, looking for that over-under. But this battling between all three of these has also led Austin Green to be back into this fight.
Now we got Herbert Pineda and Luke Patrick in the background here as they enter into La Source.
Oh,
And there's a
Herbert
touch.
Pineda looking for a gap that was definitely not a good one to try to squeeze into. Now Austin Green kind of hung out to dry.
And Luke Patrick right now going to try and take advantage.
Oh, and battling up ahead.
Oh, there's a touch.
It's Carter James, excuse me, works his way around Christopher Blue. Christopher Blue trying his best not to further that problem.
Oh, trees. Good. Excellent. Great placement.
Yep. I love where those trees are. They're my least favorite trees.
Yep.
And that multi-class action is going to cause Herbert Pineda to have to check up as Luke Patrick's trying to avoid not sliding.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get a shot of because I wanted to see
Yeah.
a bit of an aerial of what we're seeing right now with the LMP3s dealing with the GT3 traffic. And I think Christopher Blue losing out pretty big as Austin Green now going to try and set up. Well, I don't think it's going to be enough right now.
Didn't have enough overlap into that corner. Christopher Blue losing a lot of time trying to play defensive at this point. Had a little bit of damage in contact, which is how he ended up so far behind Carter James after that initial pass was made by Carter, and then immediately the multi-class traffic of LMP3s just kind of forcing him to give up trying to fight Carter James, at least for the time being. But now they're working their way through again. Andrew Matai is also going to be the next battling for those two LMP3s amongst all this.
Anthony Newman has passed Mike Gallant.
Ooh, I think that's correct. Really, they're battling right now for the lead of GT3.
That's crazy. Okay. What happened here?
I think just a better run out of Rouge and Radion, faster lap times over the last little while as well.
Yeah.
For Anthony Newman versus Mike Gallant by a tune of about 5/10 or so over the past few laps.
And I
pretty
suspect we're
consistently
about
closing that gap down.
maybe 2 laps before we're going to see their second pit stop.
I would have to think so. If we're looking at the math, they were on lap 11 when they came in the first time. They'll probably be on lap 22 when they come in the next time.
Going to be between 22 and 24, I think. Be the
Gosh. Anthony Newman making the look, not committing to it, but just letting him know that he's there and he wants to get around. Try to take over the lead of GT3. Multi-class traffic, however, not going to do him any favors. He's forced wide and has to re-evaluate that one. Robert Lewis just trying to keep that GT4 AMG going the right direction.
Ryan Nolan looks like he's out of the race. Have some chat for Ryan.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that, man.
That is always rough.
Got Ian Southern and Matt Pyle duking it out now. Newcomer Ian Southern taking the fight to one of the veterans.
Fantastically done. Victor Liette going to be the first with a black flag penalty.
Black flag penalty. That's huge.
Yeah, for the incident limit. Gives him a drive-through penalty. So see him serve that. And he will have, I think, 3 more sets of 10x before he will then be disqualified at 50. Should somebody get to it. I don't think we've seen anybody get to it in a very, very long time.
Yeah, I don't think,
if ever.
I don't think we've seen it. Anthony Newman keeping this fight going. We're getting close to what I think is going to be pit stop territory.
Mm-hmm.
So wow, for them, so for them with the 45% fuel tank, man, do you think this is oh, good grief. This is wild right here.
Yeah, multi-class traffic there, holding up Michael Ant just enough. Anthony Newman going to try to use that car as a pick and roll, but that's going to cause a little bit of problems for all these drivers. All 3 of them going to survive it.
Wow, that is
battle now.
crazy up into the bus stop chicane.
Michael Ant just trying to be the last on the brakes. It's
crazy street fight, and there. I believe Jaden Ledbetter is like, I'm done. Peace.
Yep.
He's in that pit stop now. And so I'm just like thinking right now. So
that was enough. That impact there with Michael Ant was enough to put Jaden Ledbetter into a black flag as well for incident limits.
Oh, unfortunate.
Why he dove in pit lane. So, heck of a moment there for those drivers in the lead of GT3. The GT4 is pretty calm. Take a look at them since we talked about Jaden Ledbetter as well as Victor Liette. The rest of the field, those are all going to be solved by the last pit cycle and see who gets to find a little bit more pace amongst those drivers.
Yeah. Got to navigate the GT4
These two
traffic.
Are the closest thing.
Yeah, they are the closest. Also have some battling going on into Eau Rouge and Radion with Jake Fulton and Sean Sullivan.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Sullivan in the offline racing, keeping it close. And behind we got Carter James and Andrew Mathias going at it into Lake Home. Going to try and see if he can compromise Andrew's line, but I don't think it's going to work as they go now into Rivage. No, that's Melmetti, and now into Rivage. I'm gonna remember my corner names here in a minute. Ooh, Anthony Newman executing the pass, and there's a GT4 spinning, and that car just flipped over.
Oh my God.
What was that? Is that Tim
That was
Rosenfeld
Tim.
getting
Yeah, it was Tim.
sent to the Shadow Realm? Like, what happened there?
Yeah, so that was Tim Rosenfeld getting tipped sideways by Mike Gallant, who was trying to go for the corner, and then the gravel trap doing what gravel trap does and just flipping the car because it is technically dug in and stopped the car.
Unreal. Unreal stuff, ladies and gentlemen. That's wild.
Bonkers.
That is wild stuff. Herbert Pineda Sr. still on the harassing Luke Patrick bandwagon. Herbert Pineda
As he
is
wants to
taking
do.
the fight to Luke. He's not giving this dude an inch. Mike Gallant in the pits, Anthony Newman in the pits.
Oh, both of them almost have a moment trying to get into it.
Oh, trying to enter pit lane? Oh, let's take a look at this.
Yeah. It wasn't anything too crazy. There was just a little bit of a slide working their
Okay,
way
up
in.
into
You can see
here.
it.
All right, cool.
Yep,
Okay,
right
cool.
there.
Great. That we're seeing a lot of the wall. Right
Almost
up there.
on the outside. You should hit the live button because they're going to come out nose to tail.
Anthony Newman out in front. Looks like they're going to cycle out next to Gian Cardoso on the run down to Eau Rouge.
Neither took tires. We expected. Oh, man.
Mike Gallant on the inside into Lacombe. He's going to get the move done.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but a slow exit there is going to cause Anthony Newman to be right alongside him. So they go into Rivage.
Yep, this is going to set him up. Now, is Mike Gallant going to try and force the issue into no name? Just enough, it looks like.
A little bit.
Yep, that's going to shove Anthony Newman wide. We've already gotten a number of people who've gotten drive-throughs for incident limit. Anthony Newman going to try and drive off now. He can, but I think Mike Gallant's going to keep him close. Luke Patrick, Herbert Pineda again, still going at it. We're getting close to when LMP3s would pit. I think Luke Patrick can go like one lap deeper because of his early incident.
I think so. Oh, man.
Corey Lobner's in the pits. Looks like Gian Cardoso's in the pits.
And the four-way fight in GT3 just keeps going.
Yeah, just keeps going. Yep. One right here. We got Austin Green, Andrew Mathias, Christopher Blues in this now. Ian Southern in the background.
Well, yeah, he's a little bit off track. He's going to be a little bit slow as a result. Matt Pyle at the beginning of this train.
Back in GT4s, we haven't talked about them pretty much at all. Jake Hewitt currently running 6 seconds ahead of Scott Fleming, with Nick Bowen another 6 seconds back from that, and Henry Garcia 16 seconds back. Chris Turner's got a buffer between him and Victor in the 96. We've got 3 GT4 Pro cars: Robert Lewis, Jaden Ledbetter, Tim Mello. Back to the LMP3s that are carving their way through GT4 traffic right now. That bump on the entry to No Name, and we've got a spinning LMP3. I believe that is Sean Sullivan. Yeah. Let's go back and see if we can see what happened there, because that entry looked weird. Okay, so he's getting ready to come in here. He does the exact same thing. Interesting that his snapped Maybe just suspension difference because it looked like they both attacked the curb with the same intensity.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if it was something else.
Yeah, that was wild. I think Sean Sullivan is going to lose a spot out to Paul Miles on that one as well. So adding a little bit of insult to injury, Jack Wilkins, Benjamin O'Shea in the pits.
It almost looks like he just puts in too much steering wheel input once he's on the curbing, and that's what
Interesting.
causes him to spin out. 'Cause the car looks very planted there.
Yeah. Oh, the battle. Austin Green, Matt Pyle. Matt Pyle's been caught up. Austin Green gets around. Now we got Andrew Mathias and Christopher Blue in the background. LMP3's going into the pits right now. Mike Gallant finds his way around Anthony Newman and has gotten about a second up on Anthony Newman. I'm going to scroll up real quick and see if we can see what happened there.
Oh, slide out of that pile there.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Keeps it out of the wall, so I think it's still recoverable.
Ooh, interesting. Let's go back and take a look. We got Jake Hewitt labeled as crashed going into Eau Rouge right now
Ooh.
in the McLaren. Oh, he
There's a
just loses
multi.
it.
Oh.
Oh, and he's in the. Oh man, he takes it.
Oh.
He takes it to the wall.
Oh,
He
yeah.
could have thrown the anchors right there, and if he had, I think he might have collected that LMP3. So
I think you would have.
I think he's got rear right suspension damage because the car does look like it's wobbly a little bit. And he is, yeah, you can see it kind of crabbing a little bit into corner entry. So I think he's got maybe a touch of suspension damage. Luke Patrick in the pits. Or that was live, so let's jump back out. Yeah, Luke Patrick in the pits right now. Where's Jack Wilkins in relation? He's going to clear him. Yeah, it looks like he's going to clear him. Looks like Jake Fulton is going to clear him. Benjamin O'Shea. Yeah, I think the big one is where is Herbert Pineda Sr. just now exiting the bus stop relative to Luke Patrick, and we got a spun out car.
Oh, that's Anthony Newman.
Anthony Newman on the exit, and he's going to rejoin right in front of a GT3.
Tanner Schiffner.
Yeah. Herbert Pineda looks like he's going to cycle out behind Luke Patrick. Luke Patrick really just kind of hitting the marks, saved about a half second on Herbert Pineda Sr.
Man.
Line to line, and then still managed to be about 0.3 slower in the box. So interesting. Chris Turner's out of the pits. Lead GT4 AM. Robert Lewis exiting the bus stop now down towards La Source in front of Jaden Ledbetter. I think they're both going to cycle out, or like Chris Turner is going to cycle out with a good buffer to Robert Lewis. Ian Southern right now currently trying to hold off Andrew Mathias. Yeah, where is Garrett right now? Garrett, or excuse me, Garrett. Barrett, Jonathan Barrett in the 87. Closest fight to him is Tim Mello right now, but second place GT4 AM, currently running 8th overall. So good result right now for Barrett.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it.
What is... Andrew Mathias has crashed. What happened here?
Yeah, you'll see it here. I think I just looked at it. It is coming out of No Name Speaker's Corner. Just a little bit too early on the gas there. Loops
Throws
the
the
car out with the
slide.
hook.
LMP3's dodging it. Everything seems to be okay.
Yep.
Comes back on track, and I think he's capable of rejoining with no issue. Jaden Ledbetter also marked as crash. Let's see what happened to Jaden. Going down to Lake Home.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Rear end just over rotates.
Mm-hmm.
Slide into the middle of the road.
Plenty of room.
Yeah, plenty of
Field
room
is
to
pretty.
rejoin. Yep. Man. Just a tough race right now, man. Just a tough race. Attrition is high, too. Attrition is pretty high right now. I think we are down to 37 active cars, I want to say. Oh, man. Jonathan Barrett just getting absolutely mugged right now by some LMP3s. Oh, and we've got one of them in the wall. Is that Jake Fulton? Jake Fulton in the wall, front end. LMP3 AM leader. I think he's not going to lose a spot to Benjamin O'Shea, but Benjamin O'Shea in the background is going to be gaining on him pretty fast.
Yes, I think that'll probably remain that way because that front end is probably a little bit crunked, great, a little bit crumpled, and that'll cost him his straight line speed just by enough, and he's going to dive in pit lane to get that sorted.
Yeah, Garrett Hillman currently is, let's double check, 5 seconds back. Chances? I think he's got chances. It looks like Luke Patrick. Yeah, I think he's got chances. Herbert Pineda in the pits. Jake Fulton in the pits. Going to be getting that damage repaired.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a difference in pace between those.
Yeah, what, like 3/10?
Thereabouts.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's possible.
I wonder if Golden Rider is still in chat. If so, we're gonna get that. We're gonna get that full on board right now, redeemed for Christopher Blue on the exit of the bus stop chicane, as he is trying right now to catch up to Austin Green. 1.4 seconds up. What do I think of his new livery this season? I think a lot of the liveries we've been seeing so far are really good. We'll get a good close-up shot, Thief, so we can take a look and see some of the details on Garrett's car. Down the Endurance straight to Eau Rouge and Radion. Christopher Blue keeping it together. Keeping it consistent. Currently 8th in GT3. Down the Kemmel Straight. Deceptively uphill straightaway into Lake Home. Into Malmedy. Now downhill towards Rivage. This double right-hander. The 530 is a legacy livery. Yeah. I mean, consistency's good. Ooh, that might be an off track for Christopher. Into pull home. Double left-hander, downhill section. Already back on the power. Up through the gears. Swings out wide. Little bit of a bump, but keeps it going straight into LaFanny. right-left complex. Real awkward sequence of corners for multi-class racing.
Mhm.
And then into Stavlo 1 and 2. He's going to push out wide, almost to the gravel. And now into Paul Friere. This right-left is pretty much a straight. And then setting up for Blanchimont. Maybe just the smallest of lifts for Christopher going through Blanchimont, and then on the brakes into the bus stop. A little bit of wheel spin on corner exit. Keeps it going, though. Across the line. Now in 7th after Eduardo Zamora has gone into the pits. And he is 2.5 seconds back from Austin Green. And there you go, Golden Rider. I keep my promises. Fights on track. Finn, Tim Mello, Jonathan Barrett.
These two, pace-wise, have been working their ways back towards each other. I think over the next few laps, we'll see them continue to kind of bring that battle back to each other, though Tim Mello getting a little bit slower technically than Jonathan Barrett has been this most recent lap. But we'll see if that's going to change as well, especially as Tim Mello looks like he's got a little bit of a fire lit under him. It's going to be a nice classic driver and setup differences between the two, as well as how confident they want to be in those braking zones and the overlap here to prove that Tim Mello has the better line, at least throughout Blanchimont. Jonathan Barrett willing to concede it just because there's no really opportunity for him to not or do anything about it. See where he wants to put that car, but he's going to have to try to make sure he doesn't accidentally run into Tim Mello. Huge moment there as he was hitting the grass for the braking zone, which is going to always unsettle that car.
Tim Mello going to try and see if he can pull away now. Slugger, 502s. GG on the broadcast. Thanks, guys. No problem, Slugger. Glad you're enjoying the show.
Yeah,
Thanks to everybody
absolutely.
who joined us. We got 21 people in chat for round 1 of season 2 of 2026 for Sports Car Series here at Track Limits. Eduardo Zamora in the Acura. One of the I think the lone Honda in the field. He's going to let Ian Southern go, perhaps. And then we've got Matt Pyle diving into the pits.
Do indeed. 20 minutes left. Anytime, I think, between now and the other races, the time to come in for a splash and dash. We saw Jonathan Barrett also have a fantastic run amongst all this, retake a position from Tim Mello. So let's keep working their way through.
See if we can see what happened right there. Let's dive back a little bit in time and see this pass as it's executed down the Kimmel Straight. Jonathan Barrett on the inside line, just outpowering Tim Mello to Lake Home and taking that place back in the 8-7.
Yeah, just such a clean line through Lake Home.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Keeps it.
Slugger was the upside down McLaren in the gravel.
No.
That was that was some physics right there. There was definitely some physics happening. Can't say for the sake of for the sake of realism, but yeah, there was some physics. Unfortunate end on that. That's Tim Rosenfield in chat. Garrett
thankfully
moving through some GT4 traffic and apparently having some Code Brown moments. He's letting Robert Lewis know he's about to come through as we get to the the bus stop. Oh, a little bit of
Mhm.
rear ends. I believe the fictitious traction control that exists in these LMP3s was doing its traction control. You
Mhm,
guys can't
mhm, mhm.
hear, if you can't hear it in the inflection of my voice, I'm doing air quotes traction control. Anyway, Sean Sullivan trying to catch back up to Herbert Pineda Sr. I see. I can't tell if the traction control is like controlling the occurrence of traction or
Mhm,
controlling the scenario where traction is allowed to happen. I really think it's like controlling when traction's allowed more than,
mhm, mhm.
but
It definitely
yeah,
feels like it's just making a noise to make you feel better about the
yeah,
situation, and
yeah,
it doesn't really do anything with traction.
yeah. It does sound a
It's
little,
just there to make you feel good.
yeah, it does sound in the background like somebody threw like a handful of bolts into a drying machine. So,
Mhm.
oh wow, oh, Jonathan
Oh
Barrett. Jonathan
boy.
Barrett, Anthony Newman, both getting the LMP3 surprise uh, into
They
the Kimmel Straight.
so far have sorted it out.
Yep, yep.
That's good.
It's just like just jump scares, man. What you got?
Mhm.
LMP3s are only here for the jump scares.
This feels very accurate.
Yeah. Rest of the field currently kind of spaced out. Yeah, we got a
I think this.
huge field spaced out. Just taking a look to see if
Mhm.
anybody else is really going to pull the trigger for a pit stop right now. Let's do a quick check in with the leaders. Jack Wilkins currently 13 seconds ahead of Benjamin O'Shea and just piloting his way currently to a potential victory here at round number one. Sean Sullivan having to take a pit stop on what will be lap 32 for him. And I do believe that means Paul Miles is potentially going to try and sneak around, although he's exiting the bus stop right now. He's going to try and sneak another lap in before he has to pit. So Jack Wilkins, Benjamin O'Shea, Luke Patrick are currently your top three. Luke Patrick fighting back after having a pretty disastrous heat race where ran out of fuel. Needed to
No, you're
actually
thinking
go
of
in
Jack
for.
Wilkins.
Oh, was that Jack
Luke
Wilkins?
Patrick. Yeah, yeah. Jack Wilkins is having a pretty fantastic run after that.
Yeah, after that,
But
yes.
Luke Patrick had a slide early on in this feature race that he's been on a heck of a recovery drive from.
And to
So
be
to find
back in
himself,
the podium spots,
hmm
that's a big achievement for Luke.
absolutely, especially,
Taking a look at our LMP3 AMs, Jake Fulton, after a slide early on and a little bit of damage on the front end, still top spot in the LMP3 AM. Got a buffer with Herbert Pineda between him and Paul Miles, who's in second right now, with Sean Sullivan in third. Mike Gallant in the 93 currently in front in GT3 with Corey Lobner in second, Anthony Newman in third. That's been Corey Lobner, star of the feature race, had a pretty dramatic opener and has just been hanging on, and currently finds himself in second place. We got some extra runners going in for pit stops. I think that's Robert Eggle and or Edgel and Nathaniel Baker. And then Scott Fleming and Nick Bowen in GT4 Pro both going in for their splash and dash. Jake Hewitt, who had a crash. To be honest, I don't think. Okay, I see. No, I see Jake pitted on lap 23. So Jake sneaks out in front of these guys, and if he took fuel on that early pit after the accident in Radion, he may be good to the end. But Jake Hewitt,
um,
Scott Fleming, Nick Bowen.
hmm, I think it's still a splash,
You think so?
depending on when he can. I think so, but I think it's not much of one, if any.
Yeah.
It's like a
Jake Hewitt
very
came
short
in
one.
lap 23, I think.
Okay.
So we will find out. In GT4 AM, Chris Turner in front got that buffer with Robert Lewis, Tim Mello to Jonathan Barrett, who is now diving in the pits for what I believe will be a splash for him, and Victor Lieti in third GT4 AM in the Cayman, the 96.
Yep. A fantastic starting point there for Victor Lidi.
Austin Green. Tyler Torville looks like he's going to leapfrog Austin Green, Christopher Blue. Tyler Torville's having a heck of a recovery drive after that incident early on in Eau Rouge where all the Lambos and I think the Ferraris all lost their rear wings in Blanchimont.
Yeah, that is definitely one place we've seen a good handful of cars.
Yeah.
But yes, all the Lamborghinis and the Ferrari that we erroneously labeled as Lamborghini, I think all had to go get new wings bolted back on after that incident. Or that series of individual incidents, because I think all of them were because of cold tires and not any actual impact with each other.
Yeah. Taking a look through the data, we don't have any good close fights to go take a peek at. So it's really just about how people are going to take their final pit stops if they still have to. We do have a good chunk of the GT4 crowd still got to take a pit stop. A good chunk of the GT3 crowd, Mike Galan actually diving into the pits right now. So let's find who would have been the early stop. That would have been Andrew Mathias, but Andrew Mathias actually got involved in an incident. Anthony Newman's in the pits. Tanner Schiffner, meantime, in the AMG GT4, and looks like him and Corey Lobner are going to inherit P1, P2. Corey Lobner, you can see the sparks fly as the chassis compresses on the lowest point of Eau Rouge. Now he's blasting uphill now to Radion.
Oh, that he is.
Paul Miles with splash and dash. Gonna stay behind Sean Sullivan, but ahead of Justin Wilming. So it looks like he might be lining up for potential third place finish, although we have not seen another pit stop yet from Jake Fulton. We got two.
Yeah, there's probably
two stops for him.
I think so, yeah.
I think he's going to have to pit here soon. Hit it on lap 25, and we're on lap 36, so that's 11 laps for him.
Yeah, that should be about right. That means he has probably one more. Maybe.
Ian Southern, Matt Pyle are going at it. Getting some battles starting to appear. Oh, here we go. We got Scott Fleming chasing down Jake Hewitt now. I wonder if Jake Hewitt is dealing with any damage after that accident out of Eau Rouge. Scott Fleming and Nick Bowen are driving the doors off, trying to catch Jake Hewitt.
They're doing a pretty darn good job. They're still, getting back into a less than a second gap, especially for Scott Fleming. A little bit over a second to Nick Bowen. Corey Lobner trying to split the difference here to get around these drivers.
Oh, burnout there from Scott Fleming in the Serial Team 6 McLaren. Gian Cardoso in the pits. Corey Lobner, Tanner Schiffner still out in front. Less than 10 minutes. We're in the 10-minute warning for this race.
Interesting one to see who comes in for the splash and dash and when that is and how long they're going to be in that pit lane. It's going to be pretty quick stops for these drivers, I think, at the end. They had a little bit of opportunity earlier, I think, to take tires if they wanted to, and now that window is closed, and it's now just going to be a little bit of splash if they need it to get to the end, and then it's a final sprint. Just how you see Scott Fleming starting to close down that gap to Jake Hewitt.
Benjamin O'Shea still managing to squeak out personal best in 2-minute 10.7. Jack Wilkins with a 2-minute 9.65.
Man.
Okay. Quick. That is a whole 2 minute and 9 seconds faster than I could probably drive an LMP3 around here.
It's probably a good solid 10 to 20 seconds for me. But I would agree.
Oh, we got GT4 splitting the traffic here. I think that's one of the pile drivers.
I think Tanner Schiffner.
Yeah, Tanner Schiffner in the 51. Currently running second. Corey Lobner actually in the pits now. So is Tanner going to inherit the lead of this race? Or is he diving in the pits? He's in the pits too. So now where's Mike Gallant? Mike Gallant now exiting Blanchimont behind Paul Miles.
Mm-hmm.
As Corey Lobner hits the box for a whopping over 10 seconds. That's a 11 seconds. That's a pretty sizable stop.
That's
So
about the amount
Gallant's
that
gonna get around Lobner and Schiffner. Where's Newman at? Newman also probably gonna make the move around. Yeah. Oh, Lobner gets out in front of Newman, but can see Gallant in the foreground. Tanner Schiffner now a half second back from Anthony Newman. So it looks like GT3 is going to be a little bit of a race to the end. Jack Wilkins in the pits. Benjamin O'Shea now coming around right now. Looks like he's going to inherit the lead of the race, as Jack Wilkins was in the pits for 8.42 seconds. Luke Patrick right now, no shot at catching him. Garrett Hillman in the pits now. Don't know if he's going to be able to catch Luke Patrick or not. I think Luke's going to have to maybe take another pit stop, because he's only got 2 to his name.
Possible. Yeah. And he did come in on lap 26. I don't think that's going to be quite enough to get to lap 39 from where he's at on lap 37. I think he'll have to come in for a splash. So that'll be quite enough fuel, even with that fuel margin, because there's more than 3 laps left.
Jake Fulton and Herbert Pineda Sr. going at it again on the brakes into La Source. They're pretty close, man. We got fights all around. We got Herbert Pineda chasing down Jake Fulton. We got Scott Fleming chasing down Jake Hewitt. So will the Jakes come out on top? Do their powers combine and become Jake-tron?
Well, at this rate, Scott Fleming really giving Jake Hewitt a run for his money. Both of them going to dive into the bus stop.
Oh, man. Scott Fleming is going to make it work.
Come out on top. Just apply that power so much sooner. Mike Gallant going to work his way around the outside of those drivers.
Yep.
And that's going to force.
And Corey Lobner in the background, he's just thinking to himself, he's like, yep. Just give him the inefficient lines, guys. Thank you. Yep. Scott Fleming inheriting, or not inheriting, but taking the lead of GT4 Pro.
For the moment, looks like Jake Hewitt's going to have a great line, though. Boy, howdy, Corey Lobner.
Corey Lobner, eh? Let me go back to, if I can find that.
He's okay. He survived. It just was a little sketchy.
A little sketchy. Jake Wilkins is going to get back out in front of Benjamin O'Shea, but Luke Patrick, is Luke going to be able to pull it off? 7.97 seconds in the box for Benjamin O'Shea, and Luke Patrick is going to get it done. Where's he coming out? Benjamin O'Shea's got quite the buffer he's going to have to fight through if he's going to catch back up to Luke Patrick. Garrett
Mhm.
Hillman, in the meantime, looks like he is not going to catch Benjamin O'Shea, so we're just waiting to see if Luke Patrick can carry this all the way to the end. Andrew Mathias into the pits. I don't know if that's for a drive-through.
It looks like it.
Tim Mello in for his stop. Back out now. Cycles out behind Robert Lewis, but in front of Jonathan Barrett, who just blinked for me.
Hmm.
All right, Herbert Pineda into the pits. I think this may be the last stop for Herbert Pineda. 6.7 seconds. I don't think he's going to be able to... Oh, that's 4 stops for Herbert Pineda. Interesting.
He was labeled as crashed in just a moment ago. I wonder if he had a moment that saw him go
Ooh,
down
Andrew
pit lane.
Mathias just labeled as crashed at Lake Home. What happened here?
Mhm.
On the brakes, and back end's just, man, those tires are going to be toasty.
Mhm.
And the field is spread back out. Let's jump back to live timing as we have less than 3 minutes with Jack Wilkins currently in the lead. We're still waiting to see what Luke Patrick's going to do in terms of pit stop.
Jake Hewitt coming in for his final pit stop in the last few minutes. So he has a splash and dash. He did not take enough fuel to get to the end. Tim Mello going to dive in for a black flag. Nathaniel Baker in with a meatball flag.
And looks like Luke Patrick is in the pits. Where's Garrett Hillman out of the exit of Blanchimont? Tommy Cogan sending him a sternly worded letter for the entry to Blanchimont there. And out of the bus stop, Luke Patrick in the box. 5 seconds have elapsed. 5.88 seconds for Luke Patrick. Luke Patrick now coming out of the feed in front of Garrett Hillman. Garrett Hillman going to be out of La Source. I don't think he's going to be able to do the jump. So now it comes down to how much did his tires cool, and does Garrett Hillman got the pace? We're going to have to wait and see.
Yes. Let's see where it comes down to 2 laps, I think, to go.
Yeah, I think
at this point.
Yeah, I think when Jack comes across the line, I think he's going to have white flag. Ooh, Paul York in the 97. Looks like he's chasing down Victor in the 96. In the Battle of the Integers. Nathan Racing says, I'm so frustrated that iRacing crashed on me after the first pit stop. I'm very sad to hear that as well, Nathaniel. Very sad to hear that.
Always.
Indeed.
That's really frustrating.
Technical.
It seems like it's gotten...
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'll say, technical rumbles are never fun. I think it's also one I've seen more people report these problems with than...
Yeah.
over the past, 6 months than I think we've had before.
Yeah.
So I'm curious if that is a problem that'll hopefully they'll fix more readily, along with the CPU issues that seem to be still plaguing some individuals.
Yeah.
As Jack Wilkins, I think, is diving into the final lap at this point.
Yep, Jack is down in the final lap. He's about 25% through. Chris Turner entering the pit lane. Hello. What's happening here?
Maybe he needs a splash and dash as well.
Yep, he's only got 2 pit stops. Ford fuel tank OP question?
Maybe.
That's pretty late. 3.62 seconds on the jack. And he's going to come out in advance of Robert Lewis, it looks like.
But not by much.
Not by much. That's true. Dave Schneider in for what looks like his final pit stop.
Mm-hmm.
Herbert Pineda Sr. in again for a 5th time.
Yeah, I mean, didn't take enough fuel the last time,
Interesting. All right.
I think is the moment there.
Jack Wilkins getting ready to go into Blanchimont for the last time.
Mm-hmm.
Good recovery after the heat race. Jack Wilkins got the raw pace, keeping the nose of the grindstone, and going to come away with some pretty good points to kick off his season 2 campaign as he takes round number 1 here at Spa and finishes it off with the fastest lap at a 209.63, and that is a Acura into the wall.
Oh, Eduardo Zamora having
Unfortunate.
a late race moment. What happened?
Indeed,
There.
what did happen? Benjamin O'Shea coming across the line. He's going to take 2nd. Luke Patrick, think he's going to come across the line in 3rd. Let's see. And then we've got Scott Fleming's going to take the top spot with Nick Bowen in 2nd in GT4 Pro. Mike Gallant's still got a ways to go. Where's Chris Turner at? So it looks like we got Scott Fleming, Nick Bowen, Henry Garcia,
Hey, Garcia.
and
Yeah.
Jake Hewitt are your top 4. Chris Turner looks like he's going to take 5th overall if he can keep this position. Robert Lewis in the background, I think, has got a little too much ground to cover, and it looks like Paul York's going to try and sneak around Victor here at the end to get one more spot in the overall. Good race for them. Yep. And we're just waiting to see Mike Gallant come across the line in GT3 to see how that field finishes. Right now, we've got 5th, 6th. We got 5th through the end of the field in GT3 decided.
Mm-hmm. And after 90 minutes of racing, seeing the top 4 all within a handful of seconds of each other is still pretty exciting.
Yep. And I think we're going to see this field probably compress. Everybody seems to be pretty competitive with one another. Mike Gallant going to take that top spot with Corey Lobner coming across the line in 2nd, not far off, and Anthony Newman in 3rd. And that's going to round out the field.
That it is a fantastic run for a good portion of the field.
All right, let's get some more. Got some donut cutting happening. Good stuff. Tanner Schiffner is going to roll that car around, and I think a good chunk of the field's already good to go. We're just going to watch these guys do some donuts here at the end. Upward Worm, thank you for the broadcast. Not a problem. Not a problem. Always fun. Always fun.
That's wonderful.
So round 1 in the books, Finn. Let's jump to the scenic here and get that racing info pulled up, or waiting for the results to post. Round 1 in the books.
I think we have some results available eventually.
Yeah. We're just waiting for them to post up, and we'll get that posted on screen so you guys can take a peek. That feature race pulled up. LMP3 Pro. I clear this. Can't show me. There we go. Excellent. Good night, Dad. Thank you for stopping by. LMP3 Pro, Finn. Take us through the results.
Oh, I certainly will. Jack Williams going to lead us off and come home with a pretty fantastic win after a bit of a rough start, having to take a bit of a splash and dash at the end to get enough fuel to get to the end of the heat race. No issues this time with that on the feature. Coming home a pretty clear, successful winner there to start off the season. A great championship points haul to get things underway. Benjamin O'Shea, as well as Luke Patrick running out the podium. Both those drivers pretty much in their own races as well. A lot of this LMP3 Pro field, kind of pretty much running a race of consistency from all of them. Garrett Hillman going to come home in fourth, ahead of Herbert Pineda Sr. in fifth, with Nathaniel Baker and then Rob Edgill, in sixth and seventh, respectively. The last two, I think, not finishing that race due to various either technical hardware issues in real life or sim-related issues with the car in sim being in an accident.
All right. Let's take a look at those LMP3 AMs. LMP3 AMs, Jake Fulton is going to take the top spot with Sean Sullivan second, Paul Miles in third. Newcomer, Justin Wilming in fourth with Alan Love in fifth place. And that's a good start to the season for Jake Fulton. Good win for him. Sean Sullivan, Paul Miles, though, I think that field's going to tighten up. I think the AMs are going to be a lot of fun. So I'm really excited to see kind of what's in store for the AMs. GT3s, Finn?
Yeah, certainly. That is going to see Mike Gallant be the most consistent of that bunch to come home the winner of GT3 ahead of Corey Lobner, who has a fantastic run throughout most of this race to just be, staying out of trouble and ending up in second position there. Anthony Newman going to round out the podium. Probably would have been in another position had he not had a couple of spins there himself, with the likes of Tanner Schiffner as well as Gian Cardoso rounding out that top five. Austin Green, as well as Eduardo Zamora, Christopher Blue, Matt Pyle, and Ian Southern, I think are going to be your top 10. With Tyler Torville, Tommy Kogan, Andrew Mathias, Ryan Shane, the top 15. John Newman, as well as David Schneider, are going to be the last two drivers that finish the race on the lead, the relative lead lap of the GT3 leader, with Carter James, as well as Mark Robeson, Tad Tourville, and Ryan Nolan, I think, failing to finish that race.
Gotcha. Let's go to those GT4 Pros now. GT4 Pros, Scott Fleming getting the win after some calamity hits Jake Hewitt there at the end of the race, with Nick Bowen in second, Henry Garcia in third. Jake Hewitt does manage to bring home some good points in fourth place. So he's still sticking with it in the campaign. Robert Lewis in the 949 machine in fifth. Paul York in sixth, with Tim Mello, Jaden Ledbetter, and Tim Rosenfield rounding out our 9 folks for GT4 AM. Let's go take our GT4 Pro. Let's go look at GT4 AM. Chris Turner, Jonathan Barrett, and Victor. We got a top 3 in New World in GT4 AM, with Tiago not completing the race, but hoping to see everyone back for the next one. Yeah, Chris is like, I did the race. I'm 1 lap shy of a save. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good result. Pretty good result. But let's yes, the lockout, the GT4 AM lockout there, Jonathan. Good stuff. Good stuff. Glad to have you boys in the show for sure. All right, Finn. Round 1 in the books. Spa.
That it is.
Yep,
it's going to be, I think,
go ahead.
a good season. I would say it's going to be, I think, another good season. I'm excited to see how the championship points stand up, especially after we get through our first of our doubleheader weeks this week, and then immediately into next week. Are going to be an interesting one. Jaden saying that he doesn't belong in pro. Give it time. I think you'll find your pace the same way you did with LMP3, pretty consistently with a little bit of time under your belt. So
let's do a couple things here real quick. While we are, Beltan was fuel saving, so he's not that slow. Yeah, I think Beltan's Beltan's a pretty seasoned dude when it comes to GT4, so I think it's gonna be pretty fun to watch him on track for sure. Let's take a look real quick. Let me take a peek. Give me 1 second, Finn. Interlagos. Apologies for the technical difficulties, folks. I was going to take a peek real quick to see if I could show the outro screen while we talked about the upcoming races so people could see it too. But I'm not that smart. So you guys are going to just have to take our word for it when we tell you we've got another 7 rounds lined up and we've got some really exciting
Mhm.
racing going on. We've got Le Mans coming up. Or excuse me, not Le Mans. We got Interlagos coming up next. Our next round, that's July
Yep.
25th. Interlagos. By the way,
7 days time.
yeah,
Yep.
the posters, by the way, that GN and the boys have been like working on in the background, like
Mhm.
really good stuff. Glad we got those intro splashes. They look really good. But Interlagos, a track I really love to watch racing. Multi-class can be chaotic. I think it's going to be wild. If we get 46
Yeah.
cars, it's going to be nuts.
Mhm. I don't expect us to get 46 cars because Interlagos is usually either you love it or you hate it, and there's usually very little in between.
Yeah, indeed.
So I am excited to see it because much like you, I love Interlagos. I love racing there. Multi-class is always such a unique bag. On a good day, you add
Mhm.
in this level of multi-class, and it's very much a bit of fun and a little
Yeah,
bit of chaos amongst all that. But I think it's going to be
yeah,
no less exciting than we were here at Spa in a week's time,
yeah.
which will be super fun.
Running through some of the other exciting rounds we've got for you folks. We've got with beginning with round 2, we've got 3 weeks of 70-minute feature races. Interlagos in round 2, Hungaroring round 3, Navarra round number
Hmm.
4. I think that's going
That's
to be
gonna be a fun
interesting.
one.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then
I
go ahead.
miss Navarre. I miss Navarre. I don't think we see it enough in a lot of iRacing, so it's always cool to see
It
it
is
get brought
definitely
up in leagues.
not one of the more popular tracks, but I think the technical nature of it's pretty exciting. In fact, I think if I remember correctly, I think the first time I ever did LMP3s with the guys in a season format, I think it was
Mhm.
most of the group behind this. Navarre was our first time doing it, and it was pretty wild. But then we go to round number 5. We've got another 90-minute feature, and that one's going to be at Le Mans, which I think is going to be
Ooh,
exciting. We got round 6 at Algarve, and then Barcelona will be another 90-minute with our finale fin at Fuji.
that's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
I love Fuji, so I think it's gonna be very cool. Multi-class, I think, a little underrated in terms of how enjoyable it can be. The track is always so wide at Fuji, so there's plenty of room for multi-class to happen.
yeah,
Now, if everybody uses the track properly to allow that to happen, that's obviously a little bit of its own
indeed.
story. But it is a great track, a great way to end the season here, I think, in a few weeks, in a few couple months' time at this point. But I think it'll
Yeah,
be a good one all the same.
indeed, indeed. So let's get things set up for a send off here, Finn.
Mhm.
I'm gonna pull up the poster for folks. We're gonna run the music for a little while, and we're gonna get a raid set up for It's Mr. Finch. It's Mr. Finch. He's currently doing some racing. It looks like he's doing Nords, doing some multi-class at Nords. Looks like perhaps, or maybe just GT3s at Nords. But um, yeah. Although actually his on track right now doesn't actually show. Oh no, that's what he's got queued up. He's going to be doing a lot of racing right now. In fact, it looks like right now, if I had to guess, can't really tell where he's at right now. This might be Interlagos, actually. So you guys can get
Hmm.
a taster for what's coming in round number 2. But it's Mr. Finch. Go say hi from the Track Limits family, and we'll see you all in a week's time. I'm Whelp Cakes, and in the booth with me is Finn, as always. Hope you guys have a good rest of your weekend, and we'll see you in a week's time.